Thank you very much, and we are looking forward to this one because we start getting down to some serious decisions here, Dave. This is what it's all about. It's a tough first day. How do you feel like coming into a tournament? What kind of pressure does that add as well from a player perspective? You're coming in and you've done a lot of traveling in a lot of cases, and day one, you could be done. That could be it. 2 games and you're on your way.
I feel like it's a bit harder for me. I always used to try to have the time to have the boot camp before. So, you know, you say you're going to Riyadh. Maybe you have a boot camp, and we had a boot camp in Warsaw. So we weren't doing a full like 20-hour travel day. But for some of these teams coming from Asia, it's a long travel day. There's a lot of jet lag involved, and your body needs time to reset. So if they don't have that, those are the main things that are really going to throw you off. Your mind's going to be moving slower. You might have not the best sleep last night. So it's making sure you're just getting in the game and going after it, because your body might not be feeling the best. It might not be 100%. But it's not what we do with 100%. It's what we do with what we have in the moment. And that's the main thing about the best teams, is they're not always... You have to give all that you have in that moment. You know, it's 110% of what you have.
We'll see who is going to be offering 110%, more, less, who knows. We'll get into it. It's going to be round 1 now. CAG versus KINGZERO. The winner will continue here at the Esports World Cup in Paris. The loser will be no more. There'll be a little bit of key-crushing action at the end of this one, as somebody will lose that right to compete, and they will be sent on their way. So let's get into it. We're going to have Chalet as the first match of this best of 3. We're going to have CAG starting out on the defense. I'm just looking at the lineup. We've got a master, so we've got a top floor objective here, Dave. We've got a Mozzie on the board. I'm looking at that. It's maybe an operator out of more associated with the basement, or maybe a game hold and trying to extend a little bit more.
Mozzie's very good right now in this meta because it's such heavy info collection. These teams in the prep phase, they're trying to see your setup, see where you're setting up and what you're not. So the Mozzie allows you to put pests down, really stop them from collecting that earlier on info, and then also too, the Mozzie's been getting a lot of value lately. You have 4 pests, there's a lot of chances to hack cams, and once you get those cams, it's hard to see. And it's with the opening kill right now.
That's a huge pickup as well. He's taken down the solid snake. We've spoken about the value of that attacker, especially on a map like Chalet. It's actually quite narrow. You can rappel down one side of Chalet. You can't cover in 2/3 of it across there, and using that Soliton radar, you're going to be getting a really good idea of those locations of the defenders. So that is a massive loss with Fiber being taken off the board. Nobody else inside of the map until just now. Sunset manages to get himself at least onto the office balcony. He's not quite inside yet, but he can start applying a little bit of pressure directly to site, which is nice, but certainly some work for KINGZERO to do here. Chibisu uses that Mozzie. You spoke about the value, Dave. He picks up Big J, one of the big players from earlier as well. Zaka onto Sunset, and this is not looking good for KINGZERO as Momo manages to pick up Sharif. It's 4 versus 1. He's going to have to go the whole way here, 1v5, if he wants to get this done. And you just know that CAG, they're just going to play this patient. They know they don't have to do anything silly.
CAG look comfortable. They're playing aggressive, playing to stop their pushes right now. KINGZERO right there. It was very split. You know, it was very solo. It wasn't a full 3-2-1 giving flashbangs. Usually on this with the demos, look for the game's take. You look to displace the Mez guy from below. You push him into the cuts, and then off of that, you have the top blue extend. You look to clear that. But there's steps, there's fundamentals you can follow to make it a lot easier for your attacking side.
Yeah, like you say, a little bit disjointed there, and it was just an opportunity and that CAG were more than happy to take to just sit in their spots. If we spoke about it in the we just got a perfect example of it there. We spoke about it in the pre-game, and that is players will, if given the opportunity, just stay with plan A. I'm going to sit in this spot. I'm on Mez, you know, and I know there's nothing you can do. I've got the mirror. What a power spot. Yeah. I've got the mirror window. I've got the Kiba barricades. I've got everything to help me stay in this spot. And KINGZERO, unfortunately for them, they were just too happy to kind of serve themselves up on a plate, and we saw how easy it was. The little strafe, bank kill, yeah, I'll take another one, no problem. And CAG, they get themselves a good first round.
And the after camps too, you see CAG very relaxed, laughing. You know, it's a high pressure match. Your first day here, you're playing elimination. You have to make sure that's not weighing on your mental. So the bar meta right now is usually revolving on the Thatcher. So getting that info, seeing if they have the Tachanka, seeing what plant now they have. The Tachanka counters the Thatcher plant. The C4 does not counter the Thatcher plant. And you don't have the recruit Or what teams usually do too is they'll throw like 2 pieces of utility at you, or if the smoke will take proxies and throw this prox mine, and then he'll throw the smoke. But if you do that, you don't have enough time to like, stop the plant. So there's a lot of deep theory that you can solve off the rip to make your attack a lot easier. Wow.
Much better start from KINGZERO. They send Sunset in, they use that shield. We've spoken about how they love to use these shields to create a little bit of space. It gave them that safety to move into trophy, and this time they get themselves a nice entry to kick off the round. Good stuff from KINGZERO, and it leaves them Sharif off the board. It is one of those star players I mentioned, but the Jaeger, not the end of the world. The utility's already out there. It's already done, but still KINGZERO with a good man advantage to kick things off.
Looks like they're going for a sweep across right now. They have the dining extension cut right now, so they have to, so they can't layer the top if they want to go down blue. Usually here in the situation, you either have to hard zone this library side, not give them this top control, because then if they have dining, it becomes very hard for you to play because you can't really rotate down blue, you can't flank the top, and they just have you cut inside the site. So you either have to look for a dining retake if you give the top, or just play for the hard zone up top right now. I want to see how they use this shield to displace the top right now. They need to get rid of this top Mez extension and the top blue extension right now. Probably gonna have a guy walking site here.
I feel like time ticking down is certainly not helping KINGZERO here, because they're going to get to a point where they need to take a little bit of a risk if they haven't got that top floor control. Like you say, maybe walk into site, maybe just see what they can get. But I feel like CAG are not the sort of team that are going to be caught out by that. Like you say, they're nice, they're calm, they're cool, they're collected, and DD fires the nitro out of the window. KZB manages to pick one up onto Zaka. 4 versus 3. KINGZERO keeping themselves in the fight, but CAG always there with the trade. Chibasu onto Momo. KZB gets himself another. Make it 3 in the round. He's going to go through them for fun here. 3 versus 1 now, and it is all up to DD to hold on. I said in the pre-game he was quiet against Fnatic. They're going to need something real loud from him now.
Let's see this. KZB walking Mez. They're using the Black Bridge to take the space. Tried to pop the pipe. They rotate stock side here. It's winnable from stock. KZB, yeah.
Tries to hold his position, but KZB goes 4K in the round, and it is. I think that was essential for KINGZERO. I don't often say that about like round 2, right? You know, lots of things happen through the course of a Siege match, but I feel like on this stage, elimination on the line, you know, it's the first time, as we've said, that these guys are in that position, whereas CAG have got so much experience to fall back on, getting that opener there, and then being able to follow it up and level things up, going 2-0 down, 3-0 down, it's going to be straight in the head. So I think they're leveling that up. It just maybe settles a few nerves.
And honestly, too, Tim, the hardest thing sometimes after the opening is finding the next play to go for, because sometimes you're always trying to pick the perfect play instead of just making a play. And together they used the pressure, they had the Mez walk up, it was great, it was in sync, and they ended the round smooth and together. Let's see, they're bringing out more traps right now, so they're bringing out the Ella, the Thorn to stop the shield play. The Azami is good to stop the cut play. They're bringing out, I want to see what this Nook walk does this round. Could be looking to go south. I switch to the Thatcher cap. Could be a little, the Thermite, no, it's going to be a library over here. Maybe, have you seen the sends? They sends the site and they plant default. Yeah, I think it's going to be this right here with the cap too.
Yeah, they've got the Capitao as well, so you're going to have a lot of that smoke utility. The Thatcher, do you think that is a little bit of a response to the gadgetry they face? In particular, I'm looking at Anaton there on the Warden. Thatcher gives you a really good response to that.
Yeah, and I feel like that's the thing people don't think about a lot about Thatcher now with the AMP being more of like a laser beam, that you can get rid of the Solus, the Warden scanners from a relatively safe position, sometimes being outside of the map, just being able to shoot it to him. So it's a very cheeky thing that you can do. See some early cheese coming out from Shuri. That's great too, being 0-2, not being afraid to go for a play. But they have good coverage on it, kind of baiting it here.
Yeah, they definitely want him to go. They've got a good idea it's going to be the case. We did question maybe how prepared, you know, could they be? Not that they, you know, that they wouldn't be prepared. They'll of course have done everything that they can, but they certainly have a good read here, whether it's via intel in the map or maybe something that they've picked up in that preparation before they come into the game today. But I'm certainly aware that Sharif fancies himself a little bit of a jump out to get things going. But right now, CAG, they're almost kind of hands off, aren't they? They're quite happy to sit here and say, if you want to play slow, you play slow, because at the end of the day, that only benefits CAG on the defense. Exactly. KINGZERO are burning their time a little bit here, and they need to think about getting moving. We're a minute and a half in, nobody inside the map yet.
And that was the same theme on their labs attacks too. They were very slow, very methodical with their opening of the round. And I feel like if you play that well enough and not give away your opening kills, you can really have a great advantage in the late round because there's so much avenues open that you can use in the round and just walk through with no information for the defense side. Dining the site, we have VARREL player right now. I don't think he knows, or does he know? Looks like he knows. Whoa.
This is the thing against Sharip. You can know all you want, but if you don't hit that first shot, you're probably going to lose the fight. Sharip picked up a beautiful headshot, and that's a problem for KINGZERO. He's been there for 2 minutes, unmoved. They've been aware of his position, and he still comes away with the entry. They can't allow CAG that sort of breathing room. It is going to be a big problem. They're just now getting themselves that office breach. Really feels like KINGZERO behind the pace here, Dev.
Very slow right now, especially they're just giving them the map here. They're probably playing a basement win-con flank for below. You saw them making sure they have that control with Chibisu. Oh, Chibi's back in the same spot here. Is there intel? Oh.
Takes a couple of shots, nearly finds his man. He's just, he cannot be allowed to operate like this in this position. Big J does manage to get one from the hatch. That levels it up at 4v4, but with only 20 seconds left in the round, it could be too little too late because now CAG can start doing this. They can just start playing little games with them, taking peeks, taking fights. Saka 1, Anaton another 4 versus 2. The fight through the window does not go KINGZERO's way. Chibisu picks it up, 4v1, and it is up to Sunset coming down the stairs. He is not going to win against that wooden shotgun, and that is a really nice defense from CAG, but I feel a little bit KINGZERO have got themselves to blame there. They've not done enough to disrupt them.
I just feel like they're not really taking pace to the round. You know, it's low time. Everyone gets the kill in sight. Maybe you try to drop the sight, try to throw a wrench, throw something different in the round. Because if you're just clearing the way they expect you to clear or playing the way CAG expects you to play, they're always going to be up ahead against you with just their rotations, with shoot flanking, with their players doubled up lower soul, with the Izami to close up the trophy window for the retake, with the Warden shotgun there. You have to make sure you're always adding a different element that will throw off the defenders or your opponent if you're on the other side. And I just think too, you can kind of see a little bit of a switch up and just their comfortability on this map versus Labs. Labs, they were a bit quicker. They were a bit more to the point. They knew what their deep win con was, where they wanted to go for the plant. And right then and there, I just didn't really feel like they had a real solution for the strat that they were running. They didn't have a real idea where they wanted to go get the bomb down, what their exit was going to be, where they needed people at. So I'm just looking to see whoever is their IGL, they need to point the way, go for the gaps, go for their plays, and just leave it all out there, because right now they're not really letting themselves get into these attacking rounds.
It feels a little bit like it's that problem solving that we spoke about as well, Sharip. And I don't want to keep labouring the point, but he was a problem and there was no solution to it, and that's what they've got to be able to work on quicker. Let's see if they can do it going forward. So we're back into it. Round 4 it is going to be. The final bans come in. We're going to see the Izami taken away. It's been a consistent pick coming in. It's something that Zaka has used every single round for CAG. If we remember back in round 1, he actually played fantastically from mezzanine behind those Kiba barricades. So I think this is definitely one of those bans where you look and, you know, within the teams quite often, it's right, okay, that's been the problem on that side, so we take it away for the next time we have to go back and attack there. So the question here for CAG really is, what do they do in response to that? How are they going to keep hold of those areas without the Izami?
Usually you just bring the castle here, and then a lot of the times those areas become a lot more of layers. And you don't really look to, I mean, honestly too, you can play the top mez spot, but there's not going to be much help for you. You're really playing there to waste time and for your life to die. And that becomes the real part of the round. You usually have a guy on the office side holding the deep angles into library, so you have some type of help, but usually it just becomes more on that player playing for his life, playing to see how many kills he can get, and then his team just tries to float around him and help. Yeah,
I was just about to
hard. They're going for it.
I was just about to say KINGZERO could really do with coming away with an entry there, give themselves that best foot forward, but Sharip having absolutely none of it. We saw him in that last round itching for a jump out, but he's like he's got that sixth sense. He knew that he was being watched. Chibisu, his partner in crime, goes out and gets himself one as well. Anything you can do, he can do better. Zaka manages to pick up Momo, and CAG right now, it feels to me like they're accelerating here. The confidence is building. The run out timeouts are coming, and they know that they've got KINGZERO on the ropes on their attack here on Chalet. Big J does manage to take down Chibisu. Might just make CAG think twice about this. Halfway through the round, still a lot of time for the attackers to work with at least.
Of course, you see them trying to bring out the Nomad, the Lion, the Dokubi to try to control this aggression. But CAG, great teams find a way. They're still finding a way to disrupt them and not even let them get any real work together, because they're just getting into the map and they're instantly dying, or even barely making it to the map. They're outside of West Main fighting for their lives.
I really like that from KINGZERO. That was beautiful teamwork there. We had KZB underneath just chasing Shurip up the stairs, and he's obviously got Big J in his ears saying, look, bring him my way. Bring him my way. I'm waiting.
I'm here.
I'm waiting. Arms are open. And he takes that kill as he comes up the stairs. Shurip taken down. 2 versus 2 then. Didi and Zaka need to hold on here. Zaka 5-1. At the minute, you'd have to back him to pick up at least 1 kill in this situation. So KINGZERO need to be finding themselves some answers. 35 seconds left to go. I like this use of time from them. They're not panicking here. You know, this is showing that they are comfortable inside of the map. They're on the drones. They're trying to still work almost like an entry team here. You've got KZB on that drone, sending it through right at Big J's feet, and he is there ready to respond, ready to reply to any information that comes his way. But I feel like they've just wasted a little bit too much time. 10 seconds left to go. They're going to have to dash in and just try to take a plant. Will the cover be there? Yes, it will. KZB with a double iron nowhere. Picks up the round. KINGZERO. I've got to be surprised with that one. 10 seconds. It looked like a Hail Mary going in for the plan.
It was a beautiful play, though. They were working well in that 2v2. And I think that's always a constant theme in Siege. If you're a team and you just stay with it, you stay working together, any round, you can win it. And you see the coach had already pre-fired the timeout.
Beautiful stuff, beautiful stuff. So it's going to be KINGZERO, as you say, who do take that time out. I don't think that they'll mind the opportunity still, even though they've managed to break that CAG momentum. I think, you know, maybe a little tactical timeout on the back just gives CAG a little bit of time to stew in that mistake as well, because, you know, we've got to say, I think it is a little bit of an error there from them. The 3 versus 2, like you said, I think they were 4 versus 2 at a point, actually. You know, like you said, they got themselves a couple of big kills and maybe just got a little bit carried away with the round, and KINGZERO certainly sent a message then.
No, it's very important, too, to always have that respect about your opponents, because you're playing aggressive for the kills. You need to be able to recognize, okay, it's not a ranked game. We already got an opening kill. We trade again. The Mozzie's still peeking outside West Main. Shurip is still fighting below. And it's a desync. They just need to make sure that they're cleaning this up, because you don't want to give your opponent any chance. You know, they're having great starts to the round. They're winning these rounds in the first few seconds if they can just keep their narrative right, keep their win con, and make them actually work for it and get fully in the map. But they give them these opening kills outside of the map, and they get it into that 2v2 where we can see KINGZERO's patience and their teamwork come out. I think that's where they excel, because you saw right there, that was a well-played 2v2.
KINGZERO then will move into round 5. They've got 2 more rounds on the attack, and I'm just looking, you know, maybe how this looks for them. Generally speaking, on Chalet, we've got 7 matches that we've seen them play on there. 4-3 is the record for them. 63% attacking win rate. I was kind of looking from a perspective of how many rounds do they need in this half? What are they going to be looking for? And I was kind of hoping for them that it was going to be 3, that was going to be the threshold, the benchmark. I don't think it is realistically. 47% defensive win rate on Chalet. So this certainly fall into kind of that stereotype of attackers being stronger on Chalet. So they really could do with getting themselves a 4-2 half here, because you just know that CAG are going to make it difficult once they get onto the other side. They're going to see that they can sort of bring a little bit more of that aggression almost and make it pay dividends.
Of course, and we see the Clash coming out too. We talked a lot about the Clash in the pregame, being one of the best operators in the game right now. It's going to be able to slow down this Blackroot heavily. They'd have to use this the Capitale to help clear this Clash.
We'll keep an eye on Big J's position, see exactly how that utility is used right now. Anaton is going to be playing inside of Piano. The site that we're looking at is Bar and Gaming, so this is quite a broad spread from CAG up on the top floor. We usually see that trifecta, library, mezzanine, top blue stairs, but they've decided here to actually extend out further and just stop that sweep coming across. Quite often we'll see attacking teams get themselves inside of Solar, nearly punished again. Chibisu out of the window. How about that for timing, as the man just gets himself up onto the rooftop to safety.
Does he know? Throwing a thorn for it, he must know.
Gonna see KINGZERO.
Same spot right now as the last round here. They're not gonna have the full mass out of control because the Clash is gonna be stuffing top blue here. They need to work to clear this Clash.
Already burnt 1 minute 45 of the round here as Anaton, and really all they've done is push him back into another power position. Like you say, having that utility in place, ready to go to be able to clear this position is going to be key for them. The Rotero goes in. It is going to move Library Box at least temporarily. Sharif is able to stay in position though. We're going to see those flame arrows from the Capitao that we spoke about being important for the Clash, maybe being wasted there.
Yeah, I didn't really like that flame. Not really flaming much for your team. Looking to go side here. They have good pressure. Games window. If they get a kill, they could hop on this.
It is going to be sent in. Does he see the opportunity to find the kill inside of storage? Not yet. Sharif manages to get one onto Fiber. The push finally comes into Library. KZB has been a shining light for this team so far. 7-2 does manage to get things going again. 3 versus 3, 3 versus 2 as he takes down DD, and out of nowhere again, KINGZERO might just be able to forge themselves an opportunity to get in here and put this diffuser down. KZB manages to find Chibizu, and that's going to leave us now in a 1v2, but Anaton, he's got that top floor, he's got that vertical that he can work from. Can he find the plant going down? No! Sunset, ready for the drop, takes him out. KINGZERO find themselves in the lead.
There's a 3 you asked for. I mean, they're at their benchmark here. The 4th is, every time, you know, you kind of reach that expected amount in the game, I always tell my team, you know, we already got our rounds, let's go for more. Because right now, the pressure's flipping onto CAG. You know, CAG came in very confident. They were playing very aggressive. Now, they just kind of got punched in the mouth. They're down now, so you have to react.
That's it. It's
very stoic from KINGZERO, too.
All the best plans survive until you get punched in the mouth.
Yep.
We'll see exactly what response they've got. Final attacking round, CAG. I think, you know, like I said in that previous round, we were talking about this in a sense of coming in. Can KINGZERO get themselves enough? We're now having to flip that on its head and say that it is CAG that are backs to the wall here, because we don't have a lot to go on for CAG. It's not a map that they play an awful lot of. We've only seen them play it once recently. That was back in March. It was an 8-7 win, so it took them all the way to overtime. And in that matchup, their attacks weren't great.
Yeah.
50%, 4 out of 8. So CAG really need this one for me.
Really do. I think, again, KZB, the coolness, you know, because a lot of players would throw those smokes, drop down, but he's patient. And I feel like that's the key too for KINGZERO being such a new team, to just how composed they are in these late round scenarios. And that's the most important thing about Siege too, because I feel like the defender meta, it has kind of, it's shifting a little bit into like that slower pace on the attacking side, where you can kind of let the defense kind of marinate, and they're going to kind of make mistakes in the late round because you kind of congest them. You can maybe see CAG playing for a little bit more space here, playing to really make them clear through instead of playing just the automatic layer back off the time, making it about kills more than the time.
It's a master bedroom hold for CAG on this final defensive round for them, and as you say, there's a presence kind of all over the place at the minute. They've got Zaka out on mezzanine, which is exactly what they've succeeded with in the past, but last time around, KINGZERO were ultimately able to find the answers. They did win the attack onto this site last time around. Zaka was left out in the cold, as far as I remember. He didn't really manage to get himself into the round or have the same sort of impact that he did in round 1. So I think something, you know, maybe CAG need to do is think about their own flexibility, and when it's time to maybe give up those holds, if it's something that KINGZERO are not playing into, if those opportunities are not going to present themselves, because you don't want Zaka just out for that long. He's not had a kill now for a few rounds either. 5-3. He was certainly big to start with, and they need to keep him in there.
Going for a dining kill here. Looks like they're trying to work Chibisu. They have a drone on him, but they're gonna foot pressure right now. Again, you just see KINGZERO always probing right now. They're never putting too much into the map, keeping CAG on their feet about where they are. Chibisu right now is thinking he's getting clear below, but right now they're flipping most of their bodies towards library side. They're really just milking these rounds. They spot the Cade Claw too, so they can get rid of the Cade Claw. They have good execute too here with the Grim Bees, the Dokkaebi scans, and the Lion scans. Surround right here on the flank.
Farouk just going to be taking the fight on the close angle, but he gets it all wrong, and it's that man again, KZB, on the Deimos. Manages to find him. Chibisu picks up Fiber, who has been quiet so far. The Grim taken away is going to be a big loss of utility for this attack. 4 versus 4, 30 seconds left to go, but KINGZERO have shown us twice over now that they are capable of getting these rounds won without much time to go on. And it's usually on the back of KZB coming in. Manages to confirm himself a double, but 2 kills come in for CAG, puts them back in the driving seat. 15 seconds left to go. You can see the Vulcan canister pop. DD manages to pick up Big J, and it is all up to that man, KZB. It's going to be an ace if he manages to close out this round, but with 8 seconds left, he can do no more. Zaka closes it out, and we're going to have a 3-3 split at the half.
That was close for Big J right there. He got on cams. Still see some laughter coming out from CAG. That's good from them. I mean, honestly, I felt like from the start of that half, I was honestly expecting more of a dominance from CAG there, because they were early game. They were just doing what they wanted with KINGZERO. They were getting runouts. They were getting opening kills. But I loved how KINGZERO found a way to win rounds there. They really were able to just put their foot down, slow the tempo down, slow the pace down, and just have rounds that could actually end in their favor.
See who takes the advantage going into the second half then. Of course, just having a break here, opportunity for the coaches to just interject a little bit, maybe give a bit of a blueprint for how those few, particularly on the CAG side, I think, you know, how those first few attacking rounds are going to go. You know, he needs to really be getting the best out of those shields, because I think we're definitely going to see them. I said earlier they'd struggled to make them useful against Fnatic, and I think that's going to be a key point that we see in this second half.
And Tim, the thing too on the attacking side I like a lot is being able to start with a quick play, something that's not more of like a spread. It's mainly just saying, okay, we know what zone we're going to go for, and we're going to do it with pace to set the tempo against the defense that, hey, we're coming at you fully. And that doesn't necessarily have to set your tempo for the rest of the game, but doing that the first round really throws off the team in reading you, because they don't know if you're going to play fast, or if you're going to play slow, or if you're going to play in a mix. So it really just adds an extra layer to the dimension of just knowing what pacing you want to go for. Because in that beginning round, you know, they're really trying to read the pressure you're putting and make the reaction. But if you're just going straight for the play, not the gap that you see, but a play that you just know you want to go for, I think that's the best thing CAG can do, especially coming off of a weak series and already having kind of a weak attacking record. Just kind of choosing what space they want to take and going for it is really going to help them out, and then kind of playing from there will be the best case scenario for them.
See if they can bring that decisive play then, getting in, finding those opportunities and taking advantage of them. Again, it was something that they struggled against Fnatic with a little bit. The opportunities presented themselves. They got on their flanks a couple of times, but then they never really managed to get the round over the line. They never really managed to punish those errors, those little gaps that they were able to find. So is that something that they have learnt from coming into this one? We will have our bans come through. I can take away his army. The Monte is a textbook ban against any team with Anaton on it. We're going to see him taken away. Will it be another shield taken? Are they going to fully commit to this? Or are they going to leave him with the smaller options of Blitz, Blackbeard? Yes, Ying is the one taken away.
Good. 2 good bans, because it really... The Monte's very good too at clearing the mezzanine position, because you can walk up the staircase, and it really kind of puts just an immediate thorn into the defense. The Ying ban too just gets rid of any of the flashes. The glass is going to be up though. The glass is really strong on this map, blocking the office door. It's amazing. Seeing their lineup right now, looks like this would be a bit of a passive hold with the Cade. Master's one of the best sites too, because it's a extremely hard site to just ISO. You know, you really have to make sure you have split pressure, because a lot of the time the defense is doing an extension into dining and an extension to the top mez side. So you really have to pick who you want to go for, because the people from above play heavy roles, because you can help the dining extension and you can help the mez extension from Ivy side. I expect to see them do a double reinforce off of Office and Cade the wall here, playing the Smoke Goyo combo to solve. Or actually they reinforce Office. Usually you reinforce it the other way so you can play safely on that. But let's see. Are they double reinforcing them? Oh wow. Okay. I got a quad reinforce. So they were just faking it for the info. So that's another layer to the game too, trying to deceive that initial info that you're seeing. Because a lot of teams, they'll see certain walls, certain reinforcements put down. They'll be, okay, they're doing this type of strategy, this type of win con. Let's do this. But then you get in the game and these walls are reinforced. It completely changes the whole strategy because you need to make sure you have EMPs, you have the breaching to get that wall open.
I love that from KINGZERO, just showing a level of confidence. We've spoken about confidence on the CAG side, but KINGZERO certainly looking for those mind games as well as the rounds that they've been picking up over the course of Chalet so far. So in go the drones. It's going to be CAG looking to get themselves into the map. Shurip on the Snake is going to be one that I'm watching. Chibisu with that Dokkaebi as well. This is going to be a lot of kind of intel and oppression here coming in, or there should be, from these attackers. It should make it very difficult for KINGZERO to hold on to any of those power spots that they're trying to play in.
Of course, the Dokkaebi is really good, because especially if you time the calls really well with the players you want to clear, it makes it almost impossible to answer the call. And if you do any chip damage to the players, the call can almost finish them. So it's very important just to make sure you're using the Dokkaebi extremely well and in sync with the actual plays you're making. I'm going to go for a nade clear, a hop, the ace.
Need to see better use of these shields, as I said previously, with Soanaton getting caught out in kind of solo plays. This has been much better from them so far. If we're keeping an eye on that as the Blackbeard starts to push through, that is a bad situation that they put Momo in there. I love that from CAG. The teamwork, the nade, the crossfire was ready. Shurip manages to pick up Big J as well. 5 versus 2 in the blink of an eye. Is that the decisiveness that you were looking for, Dave?
Yes. It was. You know, they had the right ops, they had the util in place, they made sure that they know if we're going to go for this clear, that there's going to be a dining player dropping, going for the extension, so they were layers deep ready for that. Pays off the wall, KINGZERO in a bad spot. No C4 anymore. It should be a closeout from CAG, yeah.
I like this from CAG though. They're not getting overly aggressive there. They've not just gone streaming into site because they're in a 5v2. They've still been breaching the wall, pushing the window. Wait till we get the Blackbeard up here. We start to take that grind. They've recognised we've got the time. That's another weapon in our arsenal. Let's use it. And they didn't get themselves kind of sucked into one of those little gunfights where you lose a couple and all of a sudden that 5v2 becomes a 3v2 and it's, you know, it becomes very, very losable. But yeah, well played from CAG. A really nice first attacking round from them, and that might just shake the confidence of KINGZERO a little bit on their defense.
I think too for KINGZERO right now with the zombie ban, you kind of have to change the way you play Mez. Either like playing it with the trap, like the Ella, but the shield is kind of useless because the Fed shield's only gonna get blinded, but the Ella actually disables the shield, makes it push away. And honestly, on that side, you kind of have to play a little bit for the layer game because you're already running the cage strat. So I feel like you play more into that, play more into holding below. So they actually can't clear the cage claws off the wall because they don't have any. They only had pocket EMPs. So just adding that deeper level, because right then and there they gave them all their kills in the front of their attack right now. So I think KINGZERO really looked to just add a different layer, look to fight in that second layer of their strategy, and I feel like they'll have a lot closer rounds against CAG right now.
We saw the value of Blackbeard that time around. I'd asked the question about the shields, and CAG have given me a very strong answer there. It was much better played, great teamwork around it, created space, created the opportunity for the crossfires to pay off and to find those kills. I'm looking straight away, no surprise whatsoever, Fiber on the clash. So how are CAG going to deal with this clash? I'm looking at DD. It's got to be the Capitao coming in there and making it different.
And you have the Zofia combo too, which is really good. The stuns are amazing for it. So you really just have to make sure you get rid of the clash or make him weak enough to where the Blackbeard can throw a nade at him, finish him, or usually I see Anatune a lot putting the shield on the back.
The Dokkaebi calls as well could come in. If you've got that clash worked up a little bit, you've got that damage been put down there, 40 health, all of a sudden it's answer or die. You don't have much of a choice, do you? So we'll see exactly how that clearance goes on. We're going to see Big J taken down again. CAG doing really well here and manoeuvring those players, forcing them into those bad positions.
They don't know he's down, so he's going to get out here. Like 2-something against the clash that people don't use a lot, it's the gridlock, because now the gridlock slows you and it's the damage is just it's OP because you start ticking damage, you're slow walking, and I feel like you can actually stop the clash from moving and then put the util, put the cat flame in, and he's just limping, dead, dope call. Could be good.
Well, that's one of the things a lot of people might not realize about the Clash. If you're at home, you're thinking, I want to be a better Clash player, it's so powerful. One of the things that I would say to you is get used to managing your distances and your movement. You've got to keep yourself away from those attackers because it's just one melee strike and you're pretty much dead. So you've got to be able to deal with that. So the gridlock is going to make that super difficult because your movement is going to be so much more restricted. We're going to see ourselves in a 3 versus 3 now. Zaka's super low health on the Grim. And KINGZERO are actually doing pretty well here. They've still got a Nitro in pocket. They've got Pulse feeding intel into them. And we've got Anaton low health on the shield. This could be a tough finish for them.
Right now they need to isolate a kill here. They have 2 players side slash. Oh, right to C4. That's the round right there. Unless Shuri can go huge here on the...
Definitely going to take one of those big hero moments from CAG. We've seen them so many times. Shuri, he's just walking his way into sight, nearly catches Pulse with the heartbeat scanner in hand. I like this. Gosh, I was just going to say, I like this. They're teaming up. They're using the shield. He's going to be the magnet for the attention, but unfortunately, he was the magnet of Sharip's attention as an unfortunate team kill comes in. 10 seconds left to go as Sharip tries to make his way in. He's taking chip damage along the way, finds one, can't find another. Sunset with the trade, and KINGZERO actually played that really nicely in that 3v1. They separated themselves, so it wasn't possible to fight both sides, and Sharip, he has no choice but to take damage from somewhere.
Amazing round from them. You know, they were really able to use the space that they had and really make sure on the library hard zone, they're getting kills, they're weakening that attack to where, sure, they get library control, but it's with 2 people who have very low HP, and the other player is in dining side who can't really affect the round because they've already layered back safely, and they have their player lower blue holding for that. They have a double stock, which is usually the best places to play because if they have no nades, they can't really displace you too well, and the Pulse can collect info on where they're going in library, and we saw that with the C4 kill on the weak player. See a timeout coming out.
Yeah, CAG going to be calling that tactical timeout.
It's an early one.
It is an early one in terms of their attack. They've had 2 attacking rounds, won one, lost one. Yeah. I feel like maybe you give it another go.
Yeah.
Maybe a little bit of relaxation needed there. Just give it another round or 2. Get yourself up to that kind of maybe round 10 mark and see how things are shaping up. But I think there's just maybe a situation there where the coach has maybe spotted something specific and thought, no, and we need to curb this now. We need to deal with this now. As we continue, it's going to be important, of course, for KINGZERO to try and build a little bit of momentum. Haven't really seen that from them yet on the defense in the 2 rounds. It's been win 1, lose 1. This time they're going to go back. This is quite interesting, actually. They're going to go back to master bedroom. We saw this from them back in round 7. It was the site that CAG were able to win. They won it pretty comfortably as well. It was really nicely done. The attack from CAG came into library in big numbers. There was nades, there was shields. It was very difficult for KINGZERO to hold on from that side. They lost a couple of players trying to do so, and then CAG were able to close out the round easily. But KINGZERO saying, rather than continue with that rotation, actually, what we're going to do is we're going to back ourselves to get that site. We're going to go back, and we're going to try to take top floor.
Let's see, the Denar is really strong right now, too, to shut down Highway. They're bringing that Ella out, like I said, to stop that initial shield entry on the library side. It's going to be great. They're bringing a lot of traps with the Thorn, too. The smoke's going to be great Sol on the Soul side right now. They're going to have weak win con from below, no solos, no C4 really for that potential. So it's going to be on the top fights right now. I'm expecting to see them get aggressive here, especially with Momo starting really pushed up on this library double window. Looking to play for the opening kill. They're switching their tempo a little bit right now. He's going to back up, okay. Have the games extend here. And that's the thing too, a little bit on that first round too on Master, they gave them a lot of below space for free. They only had the player drop down out of sight late round, but now they actually have a guy starting in games. That adds another layer because you have to set up for that game's OPK, and then once you set up for that game's OPK, this guy should kind of get out. They have games, but then you have a kill, and then the round becomes difficult for the attackers here.
I like that from KINGZERO. Just kind of, I feel like, baiting that pressure in on the back of the Deimos scan. They know that you're going to want to move. You don't want to waste those scans. If you've got a location, you want to go in and do something about it. And KINGZERO were ready. They had the backup there, and they find the kill. 5 versus 3, not just 1, but 2. Taking down Sharif on the Solid Snake as well. So not only do you lose out on the scan that came in from Chibisu, that didn't gain you anything. You lose a ton of intel with that Soliton radar going in the pocket of Solid Snake, who's been taken out. 5 versus 3, KINGZERO as well. I like the way they've managed this round. They've just got themselves back to site now. They know that the work is done. We fall back. We don't need to get overly aggressive now, but they've also left KZB downstairs, and he's going to be a nightmare.
I feel like a lot of the time, too, the teams will be like, okay, they're going back to site. Let's not really worry about the flank. They might get lazy, no flank drone. And KZB is just, again, that thorn in the side, because you never want to give the attackers a fully clean round. You still want to have that late round problem to throw. As he puts a flank in, but he dies on site 1. But KZB stopping the piano side here. They just need to make sure they can kill Anatune right now. KZB gets 1.
That's the big problem. KZB comes up library stairs, and as soon as he's there, he's like a wasp in the room. He needs to be dealt with. 30 seconds left to go. It's late in the game to start picking people up. DD is down. Anatan manages to find Sunset, and it looks like CAG digging deep. It looks unlikely, though, as there's now 2 of them down on top of each other. We're going to have these shots coming out onto the Blitz, dealt with beautifully by KINGZERO. It got a little bit scrappy towards the end, but I really like how KINGZERO managed the majority of that round.
CAG looking a little dejected right now. Their energy seems a little bit just out of it right now. And KINGZERO, you know, they're not getting too hyped. They're just staying right there in the slipstream, playing great Siege, and it's wow, it's impressive to see. CAG's going to start to feel the pressure here.
Going to see them taking the clash away. Something that's only been used in one of the rounds. Fiber did bring along clash back in round 8 for Bar and Gaming to try and hold on to that top flight. Wasn't particularly successful for them. I feel like that's kind of CAG leaning into this shield play again. You know, we don't want that disruption. We want to be able to just bring them. But again, it's only really been that one round back in round 7 where the shields have been particularly decisive for them. Otherwise, KINGZERO have been reasonably capable of dealing with them, and only one of those rounds have they had the clash, so I'm not sure about that from CAG. I don't know how much value they're going to get from it.
There's just so many traps up, especially if you don't ban that in your narrative in the pregame. You're leaving up the Thorn, the Ella, those, and the Denari too. They're all great stoppers against the shield, and making sure KINGZERO, you see them leaning more into that. They're bringing a lot of these rounds triple traps to make sure that they're covering these gaps. And the Aruni too kind of adds as another layer of trapping, because you get to shut off windows, you get to shut off doors, and you get to re-trigger those gates. And then on top of that, you get a great DMR, which is amazing against the shield too, because the Blitz is exposing his elbows, he's exposing his feet, so the DMR can rip straight through that.
Especially, like you say, with that DMR, it's just doing such high damage. You just one touch, that's it, and you're starting to find yourself in a pretty bad spot if you are on the shield. So let's keep an eye on Anaton throughout this round. We'll see how much sort of impact he can have, how much value there is in that shield, because I always look at the bans. It's one that I often talk about with the Kaid and Bandit double ban. You know, we've got to watch these bans and think, how much value are you gaining from it? It's not enough to just say, you know what, we don't want to play against that operator. You've got to get more than that out of it. If you're going for the K Bandit double ban, for example, you've got to be getting in there. I want to see walls open quickly, and I want to see pressure applied, because otherwise you're not using it. Why do it? The clash ban, you've got to be getting aggressive with the shields, taking space, and, you know, making them pay, because otherwise there's better value elsewhere.
Of course. Starting a lot slower right now. Put some pressure Soul side, which is really nice. A lot of teams, they'll bring a pair of smokes in the Ace, or like the Habana on the Soul window. They'll put that initial pressure on the Soul wall, make them think they're going Solar side, and they'll flip into the library side clear, because they'll usually layer the zone here. Not playing top mez, which is very good, because again, the top mez position without the zombie becomes pretty much like, sometimes it becomes a free OPK if you don't play it correctly, if you don't play more for that mid-floor power. So it just, you really have to lean into just the narrative of the game here.
Instead, on that library side, what they've gone for is more of a Denari hold. We've got quite a few trip connectors in there. So I think, again, just trying to make it difficult to hop in the windows. And it's not about stopping them, it's about burning time.
Exactly.
We can see, you know, there's just a couple across there that are going to be difficult to clear, and it becomes a utility sink. It becomes a time sink. It becomes another problem to solve. Or the CAG look at it and say, do you know what, we just go elsewhere. As it is, they're going to try to get on in. Fiber manages to pick up DD with a headshot. Anaton is there, one onto Big J. I was asking how much value do you get out of that shield, and he starts with some for sure. Momo manages to pick up Chibisu though. 4 versus 3, 50 seconds left to go. Plant does go down, however. KINGZERO now playing on the retake.
KINGZERO right now, they're in a good spot, honestly, for the retake. It's low HP. The win con is a little bit weird. They could probably play from lobby side just with the ace charge open, so Saka needs to really stay alive right now. They'll be retaking down Soul. Shirip on the cross. One Styles across. Boom. Double Styles. No fear coming out from KINGZERO. They're going for it.
Shirip misses a couple of opportunities to prevent this.
Last guy's outside of... Can he stop from the hatch? They plan it wrong. Oh my gosh, they didn't plan it right for him. Brilliant. Faber's
going to get this secured. Momo manages to get that final kill. KINGZERO getting the job done on the retake. Really nice stuff from them. And just again, a couple, it just feels like the same as I said about CAG against Fnatic earlier on. Just those couple of missed opportunities. Shirip there, he has 2 dart across, and thought it's not an easy hold from Trophy Window to prevent that movement, but they both get away with it. Not once, but twice. And that is the killer, because then you're having to fight into them because they're in the position they want to be in then. So Shirip, just a couple of, you know, marginal missed opportunities, but those are the fine margins that we are always dealing with inside a Siege. Great stuff from KINGZERO, really impressive, and they get themselves up onto map point 6-4 now.
You know, amazing too. A lot of people don't know about that, but if you do plan a little bit more the default spot to the right in the plants, big window does stop that. So that was a good play from Shirip, but it was just unlucky that he didn't have the cons and to plan it in an off spot. So yeah. And that was great retake from KINGZERO, keeping it calm and making sure you're going for the round. Because you see a lot of teams that end this retake, that they kind of don't leave themselves enough time to actually go for the round. And that's the thing, you have to make sure you attack each round with everything you have.
5 seconds left.
Yeah, then this could be the final round of Chalet for us as CAG battle to keep themselves in this one. If not, they will be 1-0 down in this best of 3 and only 1 map away from exiting the Esports World Cup on day 1, which is certainly not the position they will have wanted to find themselves in. Also looking to still get themselves that first map win in international play in a good long while. Unable to do it. Rotero drones going to go in, start clearing the path a little bit. Barbed wire goes, utility cleared. That might just give Anaton a little bit more breathing space to go and take some ground.
Going for a sweep right now with the ace across from the master side. They have the Grim, they have the Cap outside of library too to make sure you can clear this corner position. They have the Blackbeard again. I want to see where they use this entry through. That's the main thing, where they use the Grim Bees and then where they use the Blackbeard to really catalyze their push here.
Anaton is going to look to get himself inside of the map now. Into Trophy he goes. He's going to be joining Chibisu as they try to move on up Solar Stairs. Drones will go ahead, just feed that little bit of intel. Zaka moving across above. They're taking good ground here, so this is a good start, but let's not forget it is Baron Gaming that they are attacking onto. 1 minute 15 into the round, no opening kill yet. Half map control taken on that top floor, but still we can see important utility there. Laser gates, shields, a lot to be dealt with here.
Yeah, I mean, and right now, CAG, they're taking all the space that KINGZERO wants them to take. You know, I feel like a lot of the time on Chalet on the bar, it's very important to start out with the corner clear. Because once you clear the player out of the library corner, it makes it so you can ISO the site or you can go into the clear. It makes the defense not able to know what you want to go for, but they still have the guy in the corner. It allows KZB to play a lot more aggressive in the basement, and also too, it gives you a deep state to be able to leave library, the top mez and the top blue player, and leave your player in the corner and play C4s off of him, play smokes off of him, be able to stall that time, because they're running a smoke and glow combo. Yep, they're playing the layer game here. Didn't give him a kill. They did a full layer right now. I would like to see them either play for a dining retake, but it looks like they're not going to have the bodies to go for that here. It's going to come down to the stock execute in the lower blue plane. And Fiber and Mud. It's a good cheese play right now.
Sunset took a bunch of damage there before he was able to drop away from sight, so it's going to be something for KINGZERO to manage, but how about this? Almost gets himself a kill on those stairs, but is going to be able to keep that storage wall closed. That could be critical inside of this round. The Blackbeard is looking to punish, though. That will allow the wall to be open, but it could be too little too late. 20 seconds left to go. Momo, KZB, they managed to get one apiece. It is all crumbling for CAG right now as DD, the latest victim, taken out. 7 seconds left to go. It's flawless for KINGZERO as they are able to close out Chalet and make it 1-0 in this best of 3.
I mean, KINGZERO, they're making the right plays.
He was not going to be moved out of that position, and I think that's what we need a bit more of from CAG.
And that is exactly the kind of energy that we need from CAG going into the second map. It is their map pick, and they will have to fight to not see their key be crushed as the very first key here at EWC. The map is ready to go.
Thank you very much, and we will get on into it. Bans come raining on thick and fast here, Dave. We've got the Cade, we've got the Monty taken away. I don't know who this second... It's always a difficult second defender to call. Will it be the Bandit on Clubhouse, or there are a few other options
I think it's probably going to be the Bandit here. You know, just standard issue. Makes it so you don't have to really deal with the wall denial, but also, too, with the Wamai buff, it really does change the dimension of Clubhouse, especially CC. It makes that site a lot stronger because you were seeing just a lot of teams just defaulting into the rafter clear, having the Nomad, having the Capital to clear rafter, but now you have usually, you can play the Wamai up in rafter to stop that, and you can play the Azami now in the swamp position, and that really becomes a hard zone for them to clear through. So it's really just making sure that you're actually bringing the good operators, because Clash is one of Clubhouse's, one of the strongest ops on Clubhouse, because usually you get that double denial ban, and that leaves the Clash up. So if you're running a lot of Clash, Mira, Azami in these first few rounds, they have to pick between what they ban.
Well, this is something I'd love to ask you and pick your brain on a little bit, really. It's a conversation that I've had with Des quite a few times, and Alphama as well, over the last kind of month or two through Stage 2 particularly, been talking about this Kaid and Bandit ban. And especially on a map like Clubhouse, I would argue that there's actually a lot of alternative ways to deal with. If you've got a bandit tricking, for example, a lot of the time you can get underneath them, you can clear the floor, you know, there's other options to deal with that. And what it does do by going with that double electric ban, you said it yourself there, it leaves so much utility to play into. You're going to play into Mirror, you're going to play into Azami, you're going to play into Wamai. You know, it's always one of them where I think it's such a gamble, and I'm just not, I'm not always sold on the value of the double electric ban.
Because I see the Cade just to making sure you can get the hatches, but now with the Zofia change, I feel like the bandit tricking on the CC side becomes a little bit weaker, but on the gym side, if they're playing like the Wamai Castle combo to stop, I can see how that can get kind of annoying to deal with the bandits, but then you could maybe look at bringing Mav out a lot if teams have the Mav play, so it really depends how well trained you are at solving deeper levels too.
Well, let's see how much of an impact it has then, because CAG, yes, they've taken away the Kaid, they've taken away the Bandit, but they are going to be playing into a Clash, they are going to be playing into an Azami, they are going to be playing into a Wood, and those are the three operators that particularly stand out to me there as these are problems we're going to have to find a solution to. Right now, we're going to see a little bit of a mid-floor clearance coming in here. It is going to be a basement attack for CAG. A minute left on the clock. Sorry, a minute gone off the clock. And we've got some good progress from them, actually. We've got all of the defenders forced mostly back down to site. Momo is playing that Clash on main stairs. Obviously, the shield's just going to give him a little bit of freedom to stay up there. But no, even he has backed away. We've got Toxic Babes out already. Good pressure from CAG.
I mean, but that's kind of the strat. You know, you have the Clash, you have the smoke, play around, you waste a little bit of time, you flex the wall off. It just burns another layer if you're not doing a hard roam extension. But right now it comes with the pick and their execute. They have one can left, they want to go for Church Wall. We have the blitz up, we have to see where they use the blitz. Usually you're going to have the 2 split on blue, and it depends if you want to go for a kitchen drop or a moto execute where you put the 2 and the 1. Looks like they're going to be snaking dirt for info right now, seeing a dirt player pushed. It should be just good info. Oh wow, he walked. He should be...
Beautiful stuff. Sharif takes him down on the back of that Soliton radar scan, then also sees that the way ahead was clear until the Clash decides to push forward. Nade comes in, is going to force that movement forward. If you remember, I said the dangerous position for a Clash is to be face-to-face with an attacker. Has to manage that distance a little bit better there. Momo, not too much of a choice when the nade comes in, but you got to say maybe took the wrong one. Going to be very, very low health. Needs to be careful. There's still nades left on the board forward as well. 5 versus 3 as DD manages to find KZB, and it is not looking good as DD goes big. Manages to pick another up onto Fiber. Super low health. There's about 20 health between the two of them. It's a flawless round. Chalet finished flawless for KINGZERO, and CAG said, we're not having any of that. We come into Clubhouse and take one for ourselves. It's going to be 1-0. Good first attack.
Yeah, I feel like right there you could see how just much KINGZERO was struggling with the split. They had the dirt pressure come in, and then honestly it looked like they were to drop kitchen, but then they rotated double lower main. They killed the church player. So right now KINGZERO really need to make sure you're making plays on the retake, especially on church. It's a very execute heavy site. So whenever they're putting their flashbangs in, whenever they're putting their smokes in, usually you have maybe a C4. A lot of teams have the mini play where they C4 over main, C4 lower main, they retake moto, and then that gives you the chance to stop back armory from lower main control. So there are different ways you can win these rounds, but KINGZERO need to make sure they're calm to force out those round scenarios, because that's where the strength is on the defending side on this site.
Let's get into round 2 then, see if CAG can build on that confidence, that momentum. It was something that you said in the break there that they needed to bring into Clubhouse there, was to get up in the faces, play decisive, take that ground and back themselves. And boy, did they back themselves in round 1. KINGZERO were backed right into a corner and had no response. So round 2 is going to be gym and bedroom this time around. Again, we're going to see DD on the thermite. So 3 exothermics, I would expect to see 3 breaches pretty quick. Construction wall, jacuzzi wall, maybe CCTV wall. It depends, you know, how much utility they see in set up over that side. But as expected, straight onto that construction wall makes that rotation particularly difficult.
And I feel like too, it's honestly the best for the attack, because having that big wall open, it makes the gap a lot easier to walk through. The angle is not as tight with the can. They can't just be holding and you have to crouch peek it. The thermite allows you to really swing through fully and take that gap on con side, because if they're sitting cash side, it creates a gap if they have a person below. But looking right now, they want to go for a cash hard zone with the Wamana Jaeger combo, and they should float the clash over to help.
I'll back you up on that. I'm a big thermite supporter, a big thermite main. Might be my age, could be my skill, I don't know, but I'm going to keep claiming that it's the big old breaches.
I think it's the brain, your brain power.
Makes life a little bit easier, but the push continues from CAG here. They are getting themselves now established inside a CCTV. Momo takes damage, as does Fiber. They're being pushed from pillar to post at the minute, and they are very conscious of making their way across that breach. Nobody on there for CAG to be able to take advantage of that, but again, I commented on it last round. I'm going to say the same thing here. We're not even halfway through the round. They've all been forced back to site. They are now playing very, very much within touching distance of each other at KINGZERO, and that is going to make things a little bit more difficult, because multi-kills on the side of CAG become very, very possible.
Have the info. Great flash play. You know, I feel like right now KINGZERO, they're kind of just giving them too much, not really putting their foot in the round with these plays like you saw on Chalet. So I feel like it's just, they need to really find where they want to go for the hard zone, because even on that playthrough, they didn't really have any range breach to get the cash wall open. They kind of just gave them that space without making them take it. Good play with the clash. Wow, that's a Blackbeard. That's big.
Yeah, really beautiful headshot there. Usually we expect the clash to be countering shields by using that electricity, but instead just using that secondary. Sharif, however, manages to find Momo. 4 versus 3 CAG. Smell blood in the water, start pushing forward. Chibisu, DD, Zaka get 3 in quick succession. Take round 2, and this is looking like a different CAG than the one we saw on Chalet. We don't see them play Chalet a lot. It was a good choice from KINGZERO to take them there. They got themselves the map, but on a map like Clubhouse, where CAG are 5-1 in recent history, they are showing that they are so much more comfortable.
No, it really does look just in their plays, in their ground, and on the execute too. They're really making sure that they have pressure points from all over the map. You see Jaeger trying to swing to retake on, but they have a player hopping through gym. It's just being in sync right now. They look much more confident in their plays they want to make and the plays they can make. And also, too, it's also being aware of the plays the defense can make against you to stop your strategy. Very important.
I don't want to, you know, particularly sound the alarm for KINGZERO just yet, but I can tell you that if we look at those 6 matches that have been played over the last few months, CAG are actually better on the defense generally. They've got a 63% win rate on the defense. So coming out here so strong, getting a 2-0. If they can take a 3-0 sweep and win every defensive site that KINGZERO choose, that puts KINGZERO massively on the back foot, because I would say the same thing for them. Their best side is the defense. So right now, CAG are loving what they are seeing.
Yes, I think right now KINGZERO need to look to just plant their feet, actually play for the fights, and just try to shut down this Blackbeard. They need to bring some traps for it, shut it down, and I feel like that'll clear a lot of the spearheading away. Bringing out the Maestro, we don't see that a lot.
Not on a CCTV hold. I mean, we used to see it once upon a day, maybe the bubble up on the catwalk to try and help up there, or, you know, maybe make it difficult for that shield if they're going to be getting zapped. Or, but ever since the years and years ago that we had the Maestro changes that make them easier to deal with, we stopped seeing a lot of that. Shuriep does manage to pick up Fiber. I think that's going to be on the back of a little bit more of that Soliton radar intel as well, just making that F2 sing right now. Absolutely flying. 4-0. CAG playing with confidence. There you go. And that, I said coming into it, Shuriep needed to start backing himself, needed to play in that same way that he did on Chalet, under the stairs. I'm not moving. I'm going to take this ground, and that is what he is doing. Chibisu taken down. Sunset just managing to find something from Garage, but nearly halfway through the round here, and CAG, they're making good progress.
Yes, CAG really working well together. It's a great spot of the gap by Shuriep and not being afraid to take it. I think KINGZERO need to bring out more traps right now. You know, they're kind of getting walked on, not really a clue where the gaps are. Sunset making a play outside garage right now. DD on the cam. He's gonna rotate. Flipping the rappel. Oh, good shot by Sunset. That's bomb down outside of stock. That's gonna slow down.
Absolutely beautiful stuff there to take down DD, but I think a lot of the work there from the Thermite that they wanted in terms of utility has already been done, but taking a gun off the board is never a bad thing. We're going to see more of the bees going in, and there's the sting in the tail as Zaka manages to find one, gets aggressive, pushes through, does find the down onto Sunset, 2 versus 1. He's got Anaton as support, but he doesn't need him. Manages to find the third, and that is going to be another round closed out by CAG. Beautiful stuff from them, and they found themselves now 3-0 and absolutely cruising. This could be a speed run of Clubhouse.
CAG are heating up right now. Again, KINGZERO, they just look a little bit lost right now, especially in the early round. I feel like if they bring some, you know, maybe drop some of this utility and bring some more of these gadget traps, it'll just give them better chances to be taking gunfights accordingly. Because right now, you saw Shuriep walking in, they had no idea he was in tub, and then again, KZB playing alone on the gym side, no one helping to come rotate, just taking, again, 1v1s. You know, we need to see KINGZERO try to link up and play this trade game, because again, on Clubhouse, if you're allowing them to 5-man clear you slowly, it's always going to be attacker sided. You need to try to throw a wrench, make sure it's like 4v4, 4v3, give them a weak execute so you can make those plays late round.
You feel sometimes that that's a little bit more difficult on the defense, because if you team up, you put 2 players in one position, you're automatically leaving yourself maybe a little bit short somewhere else, whereas on the attack, it kind of feels like a little bit more you can work in those micro teams.
I think you really have to be conscious, because in the defensive side, if you know you're giving up a gap and you're aware of it, you just have to make sure whenever you're powering something else with 2, you're doing it decisively and you're making it happen, and then you're flipping your attention back. You're not completely figuring out the gap, but you're making sure you have that aware, you make the play you need to make, and then you worry about that later on, because like there's only so many gaps you can take, usually the main wall, usually the con wall, so you can kind of give that up a little bit and then let that player in, and you can kind of squeeze back with your control with your site player walking up, and then the players who are layering back from the roam, and then you might even get 2 kills off of that. And I'll only see 2. A lot of the times the teams on Clubhouse want to play a little bit slower on the clear, so kind of making them speed up and take those gaps will sometimes play into your favor too.
See if that's maybe something that KINGZERO can implement then as we come into round 4. We're going to have the extra bands coming on in. It's going to be Grim, it's going to be Azami taken away. We've spoken about the power of Azami, particularly on that catwalk, but as I said, by going with the double electricity ban, when that time comes and they're defending that site, you're still going to be dealing with Wamai, you're still going to be dealing with these other tricky operators like the Clash. Not on side here. I'm interested to see KZB here on the Scopos. Huge player for KINGZERO, particularly particularly in that last map on Chalet, has kind of been a little bit invisible on Clubhouse so far. This could be a big moment for him to get involved in the game.
No, it truly is. And right now they look like they're doing a little bit of a dirt split. They have Shuriep on the lurk. I don't think Momo knows he's here. Oh, now he does.
There was still two out on the roam. It was KZB and Sunset who were out on the roam. Sunset has dropped back down to Oil Pit now, so he's going to be heading back to side, but Momo manages to get an absolute beauty out of par, picking up Shuriep as well, who has been electric so far on Clubhouse. 5-2 as he takes only his second death inside of 4 rounds, but great advantage for KINGZERO, especially when you're holding on to that basement site as well. You've got KZB up on the top floor. He's going to continue wasting more and more time here. There's nobody up there from CAG to actually challenge him. He can get back to site quickly if he wants to because he's on the score pass. This is really nicely set up for KINGZERO to win this round.
We don't want to go hard kill right now. He's layers on. It's perfect. Playing top main too. He shouldn't give them this kill at KZB. He's at 9 kitchen hatch too. He's going to transfer out. Perfect play. Paramoto drop. Oh. Just pop the flame for your team. Popped it good.
That could have been very, very different as the score post dropped down, but CAG continue to find answers. I wanted more from their shield play. They try to offer it, but Momo stares him down with the shotty. I can't believe KINGZERO have held on to that. Momo just pure bottle there. Not
so
giving
Anatu was doing all the looking to make him. He was leaning.
That.
He's like, nah, I'm just gonna shotgun you right here, man.
I'm just gonna stand ADS. You do what you want, and I'm gonna win the fight. And we've seen the SAS shotgun actually be really, really effective against the shields recently. I've noticed it particularly over the last month or two, where they're in those close quarters fights and they only need the slightest of angles and you're getting a hell of a lot of damage delivered. And he knew that in that position. He got himself a few kills from there. Momo just, you said that they needed somebody to dig in, they needed to push back, and he was the one.
Exactly. And I feel like too with the shield, the worst thing is always taking that chip HP before you get into the main play, because obviously it's going to change the way the main play works because you're such low HP that you can't usually spearhead as much as you want to, so it really does change the way you have to play the round out.
Round 5 then, CAG still going to be happy with the position as it stands. I think, you know, we spoke about this on Chalet and we will again. They've met their benchmark for me on the attack. 3 was their minimum, and they are now looking for those bonus rounds. They're looking to go out there and let's just see what else we can take from them. It's going to be the top 2 floor sites that we will have coming up over round 5 and 6, kicking off with gym and bedroom here in round 5. They've got the mirror, but I'm looking at that Tubarão as well being brought along on top of the clash to Wamai, and this lineup plays perfectly into what I was asking about, those 2 electricity operators being taken off. Look at the utility you're playing into now on the side of the defense, and if CAG can't get around here, can't get this done because of that utility, that's where you start asking about those bans.
Of course, the Tubarão is extremely strong too, just to stall, especially on the cash side, with the DMR too, holding the deep garage angle. You just freeze this cache. You can freeze the server wall, slows the garage take. Then you can freeze the cache wall, slows the cache take. And honestly, too, with the clash right now and the Wamai, I'm looking to leave the clash top red if they want to clear through top red. Have him plant shield, have him plant feet, make them clear through. You play it from con. You make them have to go through with the bodies, take fights. Don't give them the space for free.
As it is at the minute, Sunset on the clash is actually inside of construction rather than top red. It's going to be KZB who was holding on to that position, but they've given it up in the face of Anaton on the shield. He's been able to go in and bully himself into that. 1 minute 40, and I just don't feel like KINGZERO have used their utility to hold on to the top of the map for long enough there.
Especially too, if you bring the mirror and you're doing that, I feel like you should be doing like a gold mirror, so if you do fall back, it gives you a nice hard zone to stop Condor, because usually that's the main walking point. You stop Condor, you have a guy on the bed with the C4. It's great mini plays, but right now they're just giving him a lot of space. This guy on gym is basically cutting the whole site. They just need to clean this clash and then they can go for plant.
Just setting up a little pre-place nitro. Keep that one in the back of your mind. You might see it just being effective later in the round, but you've got to remember Momo is on low health as well. Jacuzzi wall will start being opened up. The challenge comes in. Shuriep manages to take down the Tubarão. It wasn't much of a fight needed. Fiber will be there for the trade. 4 versus 3. The clash is trying to get active onto the Blackbeard here, but it's not going to work this time. 2v2 as the Goyo canister does take DD down in the midst of all that. 45 seconds left to go. Anaton on the shield has got to do it all alone. Is he going to be challenged from top main here? They're both on main stairs. He's got diffuser in hand, so he could actually go for a plant here.
I need to just be patient.
Like he was just looking to bait out a little bit of attention. KZB comes round, finds the kill with the Vector. And you feel like, I feel like there was a little bit of an opportunity for CAG there to grab that round. But that being said, KINGZERO certainly not rolling over. They were, you know, happy to absorb that pressure.
I think that was a great mini play too, where they threw the C4, didn't blow it, allowed the clash to swing out, killed the player behind the Blackbeard, stalled some time for them to power other people. You saw the Mira baiting, KZB baiting, so that when Mike could hot bathroom, swing the guy on the breach. So they're still intact using this teamwork, and that's the key thing when you're going down in games, is you're not losing your fundamental play, your fundamental teamwork. That's what is what's going to allow you to build back into these games.
KINGZERO building back in quite nicely at the minute. Managed to get themselves round 4, round 5, and it just looks like having that opportunity to go back, try these again once CAG have shown their hand a little bit, giving them an idea of what they might be facing, has certainly worked wonders for them as we head into round 6. Honestly, I would say if KINGZERO can get away with a 3-3 here, it's an absolute steal.
Yeah,
They've done brilliantly well because CAG have looked like the better team so far. They've been more aggressive, more decisive, but KINGZERO, again, one of the CNL teams not being rattled. They don't care about the size of the stage. They don't care about the experience that they're up against. They've dug their heel in. Like you said, you know, sometimes you've got to put, if your back's to the wall, you've just got to put your foot against it and push back.
Exactly.
And that's exactly what they've done.
And I feel like, too, we saw Chalet, it started the same way, kind of CAG starting out on the upper foot, starting out aggressive, getting his opening kills. But then again, we saw KINGZERO really start, their team play start to shape in, start to find their way into these rounds and into the game. And that's the biggest thing, making sure that when you do start on the back foot, like you said, you can put your foot against the wall and find a way to get some rounds on the board, because if you do, anything's possible in the attacking half.
And we're just going to have a slight technical issue that we will we'll get resolved just as quickly as we can do, and we'll get back into this one because we don't want to miss a second of this, nor do you, let me tell you that, because this has been an absolute beauty so far. Like you say, it's funny how it's kind of not exactly mirroring Chalet in terms of score and stuff, but that momentum, and I just love what I'm seeing from KINGZERO always when I'm coming into tournaments like this. You know, there's the teams that we know about. We know what we're going to get out of FaZe. We know what we're going to get out of Dark Zero. We know what the expectations are for Falcons, but I love to look towards these teams like KINGZERO, and CNL has given us a great opportunity to do that because we've had a whole bunch of new teams, All Gamers, Edward Gaming, KINGZERO, Tyloo, you know, all these teams coming in that we've maybe not heard of before, and we get a chance to see what they can bring. Can they surprise us? And I love a surprise. Yeah. And right now, I think KINGZERO, for me, the surprise here is that they are not letting this game get on top of them. I think it helps that they're a map up. Yeah. Winning Chalet has been great for them because now they're being put under that pressure. I think that just, like, you feel like you've got that safety net a little bit, like, you know, it's their map pick, maybe it goes our way, maybe it doesn't, but the way that they're showing resilience in this and they're not being pushed around by CAG, I absolutely love it.
No, it's something to really take pride in, especially being a new team coming to their first international event. To have this type of composure is extremely impressive.
Question is, can they keep that composure? Can they keep building on it? They've got one more round here. Like I said, the problem for them, despite how well they've played in round 4 and round 5, I feel like there is still a little bit of a problem under the surface for them, and that is the fact that CAG have got that 3 attacking rounds, because CAG are going to be very, very solid on the defense here, and KINGZERO are going to have to bring something special on the attack if they want to break them down. It's not to say that it's not possible, but it is still a little bit of an incline that they're going up in terms of getting themselves towards the 2-0 victory here. I said that Lair would be absolute chaos if we got there as a decider. I'm going to stick by it. I'm kind of hopeful that we do, because I think what a finish that will be. I always think, you know, it deserves, if you've got a team being eliminated and you can get yourself through to that, right, you know, that map 3, it just feels about the fairest way to do it. So, we will see if that's where we end up. But right now, yeah, I'm very, very impressed with the CNL side.
I just can't stop looking at the key. It's just...
it catches the eye, doesn't it? It really does.
Mine was the tournament right before they introduced the key, so it was just a trophy, but the key, like the key crushing, like, that just adds a whole nother part to taking the soul of your enemies. Like, you just get to crush their key in front of them. It's
It's become
lovely.
such an iconic moment.
Yeah.
I walked through on what day? I'll lose the days when I'm at tournaments. We're on Tuesday now. I walked through. We had rehearsal yesterday, so I walked through for rehearsal, and that was the first time that I'd seen the setup here. And the setup is far beyond anything I've attended before. It's absolutely huge. You've got all these different games everywhere,
incredible.
all these different clubs competing with each other. It's absolutely brilliant. We've got the Team Vitality's huge stand right in front of our position, and there's just stuff going on everywhere. It's if you're a fan of esports, whether it be Siege or anything else, it's a phenomenal sight. But yeah, that was one thing that caught my eye walking through. I was like, it's almost like a celebrity in the room is the key crusher that's there, and like the whole process of it is it's brilliant. But seeing them, and they've got they've got all the teams laid out there around the actual cup itself, and it's brilliant.
Beautiful.
I love the whole trophy process of Esports World Cup. I think it's such a clean idea.
Very special. There's a way to connect the players to it. So seeing here, adjustment, they used the tub entry, they put a Goyo flame on it to counter the dash of the shield. They're not bringing the black beard though, so they're probably going to use a range breach, or they're going to go for something else. Interesting to see what the Nook does here. Going on Kennel's side. Could be a kitchen hall alert up main or up through the bar side right now. They don't have too much garage rafter clear. Usually a play that I like to do is the oil play, where you have the nades go through oil play, you nade your after player. It's a lot safer than going in lower garage. Right now they don't really have too many nades to clear through rafter, so I feel like it's probably going to have to be a split or a quick play right now.
Construction wall has been opened up, so that's certainly going to apply a little bit of pressure there. There's actually very little coming. There's nothing at all actually coming from CAG. They've got the CCTV wall open. That's been done by the Ace, but it's just phantom pressure at this point. It's just to stop anybody being able to play inside a CCTV. They're doing nothing about the Wamai who's playing out on catwalk. Big J is just being left alone for the time being. I think Sharif is working through to oil to actually try and catch him out, and we just caught a glimpse of his silhouette underneath. We see him there now. He's got himself here on the knock very, very quietly, but I'm just not sure that Big J is going to give him that opportunity to get the kill. But if he keeps his back turned, it could be big trouble, because honestly, if Sharif gets up this ladder and gets away with this, it's going to be absolutely unforgivable. Chibisu does manage to find Momo. That's the entry, surely. They have no idea. He's waiting for his moment, and he finds it! Absolutely brilliant. You said at the beginning of the round, what is the play with the knock? Is that big enough for you?
Yeah.
It's got to be.
It's a great reaction, too, because you usually put the players on the windows, and now the trigger from the garage guy is to drop over and to fight the windows for the players, so that's a beautiful play from CAG. Yeah,
really, really nice teamwork to create that opportunity to find his final man. So, coming into the last minute, it is all shaping up to be a master-sided push now. Sharif is the only one on the other side. He's got himself inside a garage, and he's just kind of holding his position for now.
But they're very split right now, so it's going to be a difficult end. They're trying to go garage with the bomb. Anitune's on the breach. Probably got to sprint in top red. Fiber needs to make a play. He could kill. Can't play for below one con. Needs to play for a garage flank here. Zaka gets a kill on the back.
DD has now actually rotated around to get himself onto catwalk as well, so he's going to try to deliver the diffuser in from that side as Anaton goes through, manages to find the kill, headshot onto Sunset, leaves us now effectively in a 3v1 with Sharif down in garage. It's all for Fiber to do. He's trying to hold on, he moves up the stairs, but the problem is they know exactly where he is. DD's putting the diffuser down, he's got Anaton right up in his face, and it's going to be another round going to CAG. They take it, and it's 4-2 on the half.
Very smooth rounder right there. They had it's a great idea of what the defense was going to do to their play, the reaction they were going to make. They got the garage kill. They took Rafter without having to use much utility for it. They had the Nook cans to open up their Rafter wall too to get into the site. It was a very beautiful round. They had the Blitz come through top red, so if they actually are playing close, the Blitz can just flash that guy, deny him from playing there. Great rounds, honestly. I feel like CAG they've really found their attacking shape and really what they want to go for, and just their executes. They were really just in sync and not really lollygagging around very much.
Yeah, the little pocket play from the knock there, Sharip, I said, he's just got to back himself. He's just got to, you know, when he has that idea, he's got to see it through and go with it, and it just opened the round up, and you know, we saw that little bit of a wobble after the rotate. There was a couple of kills went down, but ultimately against a team like KINGZERO, they are proving, you know, that they will fight their way back into these rounds. Nothing's going to be just kind of plain sailing, but CAG still got the job done. 4-2 it is on the half then. If we have a look at how things are going so far, Sharip and DD particularly standing out, and I'm really pleased to say that and to see it, because earlier on today, coming into this matchup, I said, you know, I'm looking at Anaton and DD, they were a bit quiet against Fnatic. It meant they were kind of almost playing 3 versus 5 a lot of the time. I think they had 5 kills in the entire match between them, so it was a tough opener for them. So for DD to come in here, you know, and have this big game so far, currently sat 6-3, and just really getting some important kills for his team, really kind of breaking down that spirit. A couple of the kills have come in at moments that there's kind of pivotal moments in the round where KINGZERO, it's kind of that make or break. It's, you know, we're standing up to you, but if the next kill doesn't go our way, then we're probably not going to, and it's DD that's got a couple of those. So yeah, really impressed with him so far.
DD's always been a solid backbone, especially in this later stint of the roster. Scrumming them, very coordinated player. He's very good, very what you want in a support player, really. Which
you'd expect coming from a coaching position as well, because obviously, you know, he's kind of seen it more from behind the back line, you know, not even on the back line really, you know, so getting that kind of top-down view in his mind and seeing how the game's working and kind of how the cogs are turning is second nature to him.
Yeah, exactly.
We're going to get on back into this for the second half then. Bans will come through. CAG with a very good start. Just as a reminder for you, when we look at their clubhouse performance over the last few months, 5-1 for CAG. The only loss they took was against Team Falcons back on the 11th of May in Salt Lake City. Other than that, they have got a 5-1 record, and the defensive win rate for them, 63.6 if you want the decimal percent. They are on top of this one at the minute. 4-2, we would expect them to be taking another 4-2 half here. They won't need to do that. They only need to get themselves onto 7, of course. Bans come through. It's going to be the double denial again. The Electro Bros will go by the wayside. Cade and Bandit taken out, and it's going to be Monty and Ying, which has actually been a consistent ban by KINGZERO against CAG.
Yeah, okay. I feel like that's good, though, because the Monty play forced the blitz, and then you really have to just get rid of the Ying, because the Ying's really annoying, because the Ying can really put pressure all over spots on club, because you can go Logi Hatch, you can go to the windows, you can go to the tub wall pretty quickly, and you can Ying through single con and Logi like simultaneously, just throwing the Ying and then throwing it into the con. But also too, the Ying shotgun's very overpowered.
Yeah,
it's one of the best shotguns in the game, almost like 1 pump down, so it's a lethal operator.
And we've already seen the power of shotguns so far on this clubhouse map, with Momo giving a little bit of a schooling out when he was playing on Church and Arsenal downstairs himself, but this time he's going to find himself on the attack. I'm particularly interested to see how mobile CAG are here on the defense. We can see there is utility being expended upstairs there straight away. Just having a look, and it is Sharip and Chibasu. If ever you wanted a pair not to be playing together on the roam somewhere, they've got to be up there as the pairs that you don't want to go. I'm going to go back to like Cyber and Bullet back in the day. I can't imagine what it must have been like trying to clear those two, but Chibasu and Sharip is going to be no fun whatsoever up on this top floor.
No, especially too, they have the Blitz right now. The Blitz is probably going to be the main source of catalyzation from the cash side here. They really just need to use this Blitz and look to just collect these kills before they can layer here, without getting too many deaths right now.
I love how aggressive this clearance is, and I judge that by the distance between the player and the drone. If they're right on top of that drone, they're acting on that information. Obviously, it's a risk-reward. The closer you are to that drone, the less time you've got to react, so the risk goes up. But I absolutely love that from KINGZERO. They have sent a little bit of a message on that clearance there, and CAG have got nothing out of that top floor roam. They've been forced away. The Zaka is the only one away from sight at the minute, and that is within the first 60 seconds of the round. So absolutely loving that. The Blitz gets aggressive as well. Zaka finds himself in a tough spot here in Bar. If he can fight his way out of this, if he can get anything for his team, it's going to be a hell of a turnaround.
Playing as well, though. KINGZERO need to try to kill this guy without dying to him.
Trying to see if they can get the angle through that soft wall from stock through to bar. It will get it done eventually, but Sharif is there with one of the own for CAG. They managed to take down KZB, and it's the book that's gone.
Yeah, it's big. KZB2, one of their best players, struggling this map right now. Not get his footing in the game here. Sens look like they're gonna do like the old school Sens execute right now. Could bait that. They could go church wall, but actually they can't. Or should I say back armory wall, because the buck is gone now. That might have been their initial plan, honestly.
Only 8 Texkaros pellets as well left, so not a huge amount to deal. You know, with the bottom of church wall, if they want to get down there and open something that can be used, they may well get themselves a line of sight, but they're having to use the Texkaros pellets just to get any verticality above, and it just shows how crucial the loss of that book could be. You don't always get to choose who you find, but I think Chibisu would be more than happy with that. Sharif manages to find one. Nitro goes over, does not find the man inside of Moto, but they know that he's behind the light screens, however, cannot find the kill. DD taken down. Chibisu onto Big J. 3 versus 2. 15 seconds left to go, and how about that? Sharif on a big swing around. I think it's 4 for him in the round, and that is going to be CAG holding a super solid first defense. 5-2, and KINGZERO, they are going to be feeling the heat here, as they're now just 2 rounds away from finding themselves on lair.
Sharif, man, he's really woken up. He's into the series now. He's playing good rounds. I mean, that was just I don't know how he got that kill on the guy top main through the buck holes, but brilliant. That was honestly a very crucial trade, because they were looking like they wanted to go back armory, execute, and they were going to fake the church side with the senses. But since they couldn't get Ashwell open, it really did stall their execute.
Losing the book, as you know, as we've said, it was such a critical moment within the round, and I feel like that's sort of the depth that I was talking about, particularly when we look at these newer teams, when we look at the plan A, the plan B, the plan C. You know, this is where sometimes they will come up a little bit short, although I'm not sure even, you know, I mentioned Canadian earlier, I'm not even sure somebody with his hours in the game would have had much of a solution when the book was gone there and you're trying to open the floor with Texkaros pellets. She's still going to be struggling. At that point, there wasn't really much of an answer that could have been found. So 5-2 it stands, and I tell you what, CAG are giving no quarter here, are they? Bringing along the clash as well. They are just ramping up the difficulty.
Oh, Maya, Zombie, Warden, Mirror clash. Like, that's a lineup right there.
That's a lineup.
Let's see, because I'm interested to see how well they hard zone top right. If they play it for the death with the clash, or if they play this layer game again. Because too, another thing that's really strong, Tim, is the middle master C4. Always having someone on the bed with the C4. If they're on the middle master window, boom. That's one of the best things that the best teams do. They always have the C4 plays ready.
Take the drone out, at least prevent the intel for those positions. But like you say, having, you know, C4 an option, but they've actually brought along the shield this time, so it's going to be Sharif or DD that they're looking towards if they want to be using that utility in and around that master bedroom. For the time being, Anaton has been forced back a little bit. You asked the question, Dave, of how long he was going to stick. Would he play to the death on the top of red stairs? He has chosen not to. He's being pushed back into construction, and again, that's quite early in the round, so this is something that KINGZERO have done well so far on the attack. We saw it on that church round as well. That top floor clearance, pushing the roamers back. They've not messed about with that, and I like that from them.
Yeah, it's a very... It can be hard, honestly. Some teams, they struggle clearing the cash side. But we've seen 2 teams just being able to sweep that control in the round, really being dependent on this later end here. Seeing how they're going to deal with the Jacuzzi extension. They have a player below to stop Jim right now, C4 below. They have a guy fighting on outside the thermite charge right here, playing aggressive. That's a great opening kill. Kills the A so they cannot get the wall open too. It's going to kill all counter pressure right now. C4 on the middle master. Nope, the C4 at the condor. Blackbeard 1 HP. Blackbeard dead to his own nade.
Not ideal for KINGZERO, especially when they need to be building some momentum. Taking that explosive onto the Blackbeard. Shield lost, leaves it all up to Big J and Fiber to get this one done. Fiber does already have one in the round. He was able to take down Zaka earlier. That's the Azami off the board. board, but CAG sitting pretty right now. They're just going to hold these positions and try to force KINGZERO to play on into them, and why not? They've got the mirror. I spoke earlier. I'll speak about it again. You've taken the cave and the bandit. It's got you those breaches quickly, but it does mean that you've got tough utility to play into. Mirror and Clash. Peeking around the corner. Oh, beautiful kill from Fiber onto DD. 15 seconds left to go, and they're just starting to make a round of this, but it's that man again. Sharif steps up with a double, just uses that intel that the Clash is giving him, and manages to close out the round. CAG put themselves up onto map point.
Just smooth rounds from CAG, you know, they're finding a safe way to disrupt the push. Sharif sees gym windows close. He's playing aggressive for the ace on the rotation. Gets the ace kill. They have to replicate the thermite there, but the thermite's not as strong because he can't get rid of the mirror window. And then they get the C4 opening, not the opening kill, but they do a lot of damage to the Blackbeard. And then Blackbeard dies to his own nade. From then on, the round is in the scramble. It's broken. KINGZERO did a good job to bring it back, but ultimately, you know, CAG made the plays to just put them in a disadvantage.
It feels like ultimately the real theme here on Clubhouse so far has been KINGZERO having to fight their way back in.
Yeah.
And there's only so much that you can do that. They did a great job of it at times on Chalet. We saw a couple of rounds won that they probably had no business winning realistically, but there just comes that threshold where you're not going to continue to be able to survive. It's much the same as we say about hero players. You can't rely on that one player turning up and delivering round after round after round. You've got to be able to get it done yourself sometimes, and KINGZERO just finding themselves in a tough spot. They did have their tactical time out there. Whether that'll be a little bit late or not, time will tell. They've got to get 4 rounds in a row here. Maybe that tactical timeout can give the coach an opportunity to give a blueprint maybe for the next one, maybe 2 rounds. You know, when we look at these tactical timeouts, we look at coaches like Romalia for G2, who's, you know, his players particularly speak really highly of that content that he delivers, and at times we've heard it and it sounds like it's, you know, 100 miles an hour, and you're like, surely that's too much, but the players are like, absolutely not. It's brilliant. He can give us 2 full rounds and, you know, we'll go and execute that plan and win them, but 4, I think that might be a bit of a push.
A lot. For some of the great coaches, you know, I've been with Call a lot, and he's able to give you, like, just, if you need to, like, just boom, boom, boom. He can give you 4 rounds you can run. So it really just depends on how well your coach can see and adjust. And honestly, too, being able to know how they're going to react to some of your calls and being able to kind of, like, pre-make adjustments and counters going rounds deep. You know, he'll be able to really give you a plan, too. And then if you get to OT, he'll be giving you a plan too for that OT side.
That's really fascinating, because it's such a valid point that it's not about the 4 rounds as they stand now, it's about maybe the next 2 rounds as they stand now, but then it's the 2 after that are what's it going to look like when they've adjusted based on the 2 we've won. So you really are kind of wheels in wheels, you know, trying to get forward there. That's really interesting. Round, what could be the final round, round 9, is underway. We're going to be seeing a defense coming in from CAG, this time CCTV Cash. They are looking for that complete cycle of 3 to get themselves done. Now you're going to see construction wall opened up quickly by the thermite. Big J just taking advantage of the fact that the electricity, that the denial has been taken off the board. There is no pressure at all at the minute coming from the master side. This is all garage, main breach, maybe a little bit of CCTV window that is the main focus.
See here too the double extension into Rafter, Anatune hiding right now. If they don't see this is going to be a wrench in the system. And again, that's what you need on club. You just need those little plays to just throw off the counting, making sure they think, okay, they don't see a swamp play. They think Rafter's going to be weak right now. But then you go to Peter Rafter and Anatune's going to pop up. Let's see how he does with it.
For the time being, playing in behind those Kiba barricades, utility that has not been banned away, and it is going to prove particularly difficult. There's Zafia looking to maybe move on in there, support the push. Going to see the impact EMP coming out. I like that, just to try and take away those ADS as DD does find Momo. That's the Capitao, such great utility to clear. The catwalk won't be available. Zaka with another. Sharif, DD, they're looking to finish it as they started here. Round 1 was flawless. Will round 9 be the same? Damage taken by KZB, yes! It will. That's going to be the flawless round for CAG. It is going to be the win on Clubhouse.
Right, well, it's just one more map that stands between these 2 teams and continuation in the tournament. Either CAG or KINGZERO will have their key crushed by the end of this map.
Thank you very much, Anne. Let's get on into it. A best of 3 comes down to a best of 1 here on Lair. It will be the decider. And as Anne so eloquently says, the loser will be going home. The key will be crushed. Their right to compete removed. So it is all on the line. Just a reminder as well for VARREL as a club, it's particularly important to be in that club championship, to be eligible, to be active. You got to get those top 8 finishers in 2 titles, and they've only got 2 left, including Siege. So this could be a big loss for them if they go out of this. It is not just that, but it also affects the club in terms of that club championship as well in the overall picture here at the Esports World Cup. So let's get on into it. We've got those bans, and it's pretty much rinse and repeat apart from one of them. We've got the Monty, we've got the Ying, we've got the Kaid, exactly like we saw back on Clubhouse, but this time, instead of the Bandit, it's going to be the Clash.
Shows they want to use that shield a lot more here. And I feel like, too, a lot of times on these takes, especially on the Master take, usually teams take below to start off their initial, so you're going to already have a person below to displace if there's a Bandit tricking ops or if he's tricking the inner mask wall right now. Looks like they're going to hide the Bandit also. But this is also, too, where I feel like the Zofia is extremely strong, especially on this map now, with the ops extension you see teams run, and then, 2, dealing with the Bandit tricking with the stuns also.
Now, I don't want to paint a bleak picture for KINGZERO, but if we look at Lair, if we look at CAG, they are 7-1. The only loss they've taken here on Lair over the last 6 months or so was against 5 Fears in Salt Lake City.
Okay, and that's a valid. It's a
valid loss, you know. They didn't have the best performance at Salt Lake across the board, so I feel like we can kind of give them that one. But 7-1. When we look at the other side, it is a map that KINGZERO play frequently, but they are 4-4. It's much more of a mixed bag for them, and they particularly struggle on the attack. 40% attacking win rate, so they might find themselves, we've spoken about their resilience so far in this matchup. That's been one of the real key threads for KINGZERO, I feel, has been that ability to battle back into things. If things go according to the numbers, they might have to show us the ultimate resilience here to fight back in the second half.
Especially here too with CAG's lineup, with throwing the Goyo, the Zombie, the Bandit, the Tachanka. You have just amazing stall with the Tachanka. The Tachanka can sit pretty much Tetris and flame every single spot from there, denying all pushes. The Thorn's really good on the top mezzanine spot, being able to deny display. The Bandit trick too with the chest extension with the Azami. It's all winning right now from their lineup.
So KZB was particularly quiet back on the last map of Clubhouse. It's going to be his job to deal with the Tachanka, I would imagine, or the Azami particularly. Anybody playing in with it behind that desk, anybody in one of those power spots, it's going to be up to the Deimos to get underneath, use those tracks, use the Vendetta, and try and get them moved, create difficulty for them to stay in those spots. So KZB, it was tough for him on Clubhouse. He's going to have to show us a little bit more here. Look at the utility taken out by the Twitch. Gonna have to wait a little while, just double checking, I think. Wanted to see if there was anything else, any other Goyo canisters that could be taken down. So leaves the 1 Bandit battery on the wall, but a lot of work done there by that Twitch.
Yeah, a lot here. They already have top mez control too. So the CAG's really playing just to play the plant now right now. And for that, I feel like KINGZERO need to try to apply a little bit more pressure of split into the play. Because if you bait the Tachanka into stopping that plant, you bait everyone else to think you're going for that plant, and then you're doing some nice walks around the map, you can get some nice gaps here. They're flanking below with Shuri. Let's see if they have info for this.
I don't think they do, Shuri.
Oh, good jiggle.
Makes a challenge. It's going to be KZB, as I said, that key operator underneath to be able to prevent the Tachanka in the late round. He's done a lot of work to push Zaka on the Azami away from desk, but I'm not sure there's going to be much more opportunity for him to get involved in the round. 40 seconds left to go here, and KINGZERO not in a position to put the plant down. They're going to have to go in through the main door. Anaton has been able to keep the wall closed onto mezzanine, so it's going to be in through a single door and hope for the best. DD manages to find Momo. Chibisu onto Fiber, manages to get another onto Sunset, and CAG have won this round already, realistically, and they've done it flawless again. First round Clubhouse flawless, last round Clubhouse flawless, first round layer, it's flawless, and you feel like they just won that with their utility beautifully. No pressure coming onto them on site because of that bandit. They just kept that wall open from Ops Corridor and could just sit there for the rest of the round.
And I feel like, too, you have to notice that that's their 4-1 card. They have the Bandit, they have the Flames, they have the Tachanka, and the Azami stacked for that. Sure, you can try to apply pressure, but you have to know that that can't be your end-all, be-all in the round. You have to make sure you're having a gaps display. You're opening up the Pebble side door, so you're making sure your green person is having to alter that. And you honestly, towards the end of the round, you start to use that ops position as a bait. You start to make pressure getting the wall, so you can open up gaps across the other side of the top floor right now. And I think that's where KINGZERO was lacking too. And the Deimos play it's a little bit weak now, especially with the Zofia buff. I feel like the Zofia is so strong below, especially too because with the Azami playing chess, they usually like to keep to the floor to stop the vertical player from helping them. So the Deimos below it's still kind of iffy. Like you're just really down there, and you really do notify them when you're down there, because when you track, the player who's getting tracked can fight you, and the player who's flanking you is going to be fighting you, so it's just a difficult situation to be in.
Yeah, it was definitely a little bit ineffective in the round overall, because, you know, Anaton is one of the key players in that position that you need to be moving. You need to be getting that wall breach so that you've got that entrance into sight. And he was just playing on it. The floor had been shut out, but he was just still playing on it because he knew there was no threat coming from underneath. And Sharif helped to a degree by going underneath and putting that pressure onto KZB. But yeah, they definitely needed to be gaining more out of that. The verticality this time is going to be coming in the form of Ram instead. They are attacking onto the basement this time. Just having a look across the lineup of CAG though, look at that two top floor, Sharif and Chibisu, the dynamic duo once again up there to cause problems, and cause problems they will. That's going to be Big J taken down. Sunset seriously damaged as well. Hard breach off the board. They've got no hard breach options whatsoever now. Big problems already.
Very tough, especially the site being so hatch dependent too. Yeah, they're just playing really well right now. Oh, well, 3v3 here. They do have the Ram, a lot of vertical pressure right now. They just need to look, you could maybe look for a filter stock split here with the vertical pressure. But obviously losing the ace is going to be hard because Rocket Hatch is going to be closed, and I'm not sure if the range hatch is open here. Let's see. Okay, it's reinforced. So both hatches are reinforced right now, so yeah. Going to make it very difficult for them to execute this. Yeah,
it's going to have to be just horizontal only. KZB does bring them back into the round though. We did comment it was a little bit quiet on Clubhouse, was electric on Chalet. So they're going to be looking to get him back to that fighting form. I see a little bit of a last minute reinforcement. We don't often see them at the halfway mark, but I do love a pocket reinforce. We're going to get the bandit batteries down because of course CAG now know what the win conditions are. There's going to be no verticality coming onto them, so they know that they're going to have, apart from, you know, Ram can open up a few angles, but they're not going to be able to drop into sight from there. That's the key. So they're going to have to come down somewhere like filtration or through warehouse. And CAG are just looking at that and saying, right, let's batten down the hatches. Let's seal up anything that they can. So can we stop filtration? Can we make that more difficult? Yeah, no problem. Force them onto a single door, and then maybe they have to come through drum, have to come through warehouse. I really like that from CAG.
Yeah. Looks like they're going to do what I said. They're going to be doing a stock filter split here. IQ going to walk in with a nade. They're going to walk down filter with a bomb, tap the plant. The only difficult thing right now is the Ram still has the bomb on the verticality. Gonna need to rotate here, downfield, to waste time. Gonna be low time right now, 3 foams to cut sites, 1 C4.
The problem as well with Ram having to deliver the diffuser into sight is you've now got nobody above. You've now not got that vertical pressure, and as soon as Cyclops realise that, they can just start getting aggressive. DD managed to get a double Zaka onto Momo to finish it off, and I feel like, yeah, there was just a little bit of disorganisation from KINGZERO at the end there. It was almost like the last player you want that diffuser on is your Ram above, and it's like, oh, I've got the diffuser, I'm going to have to bring it because there's only 30 seconds left. And then, because really what you're looking for, if you're trying to plant inside of that filtration door, you want your Ram holding everybody back. You've got to be holding that cross so nobody can approach and get the angle onto your planter, and you've just lost all protection there, and DD takes advantage.
Especially too, you could see the smoke faded actually when they actually got into the site, so he had thrown it too early and it took the time. They couldn't actually use it to their advantage right now. Maybe KINGZERO to slow down a little bit here. They have the snake, they have the Dokkaebi up, maybe bring a little bit better ops, but they want to go for these full map clears so they can just get this initial info, because they're just playing light double roams and just playing gunfights right now. Bringing out the blitz again.
And winning gunfights.
Yeah.
Sharif managed. I think the double from, you know, Sharif up on top floor just really set them up for it, losing the shield as well. You know,
the shield and the ace too, like opening kill, it's like officially taking out of the round.
I think if you can open this is the other thing. You've got to look at the, you know, look at the operators that have been picked there, and I'm looking at the IQ. And I'm thinking, what reason have they given you particularly to bring the IQ?
Yeah.
We've got no Valkyrie on side. We've got no Vigil on side.
No Echo
We've got no Solis, no Echo. You know, I'm looking, I'm thinking, what reason have they really given you to bring that operator? You know, could we have brought somebody that maybe gives you a secondary breaching option so that you've then not got this pressure on the ace, who's then going in entry on top floor almost because they die in first?
Yep.
If that's your sole hard breacher, they can't be going in first and taking that fight against Sharif like that. So yeah, a few I think you know, little bits of disorganisation from KINGZERO there, but again, CAG doing really well to punish them for it.
Let's see, most time for this setup, guys, they usually do a 4 top. Usually one in sight playing the rack side. They have the bandit there to trick slow the wall. Zombie on green extension right now. They're going to be clearing Skybridge over with the gridlock blitz. It's all a very standard issue here. They have the souls above for the wooden column with the smoke, so the smoke can use it. Oh. Great clear through on the green extension.
Fiber rips the head off Sharif there, and I tell you what, you don't get to pick them, but I'm sure that is exactly who they would have chosen to take off the board first. KINGZERO get themselves into this. They need to be winning this because, of course, CAG, they're going to continue this rotation. They've got their 2 primary sites. A lot of games hinge on that tertiary, on that third choice site, and being able to get the wins on defense. So, great start from KINGZERO. The problem that they still have, though, is going to be Chibisu. But looking at this, he's not the player that's actually playing up above at the minute. It's going to be Anaton and DD that are up there. Personally, I'd kind of like to see that the other way around.
Yeah, looks like they're going to be going for a flank here on the Skybridge player. Big J with the kill, holding down.
They do manage to fight their way back into things a little bit as Anaton does manage to find Big J, but it's going to be now a 1v3 with the diffuser down on the ground. And I spoke about disorganisation on the side of KINGZERO. I don't know if CAG have maybe just been a victim of a little bit of the same there. Like I said, just
opening
not maybe
kill really took him out of the round.
Yeah, just not really having the right players in the right place at the right time, and KINGZERO have been able to take advantage of that beautifully. They're just going to leave this light screen up. There's absolutely no reason to change it. Let it fighting through it. It's going to be 15 seconds left to go. Not much chance that this gets won out here. I think now is the time. They're just going to get aggressive on the blitz. It's going to be Momo backing him up, manages to get that final kill, and KINGZERO, they really needed that round. 3-0. That would have been a big, tough start for them to overcome. We expected them to go behind. We know how good CAG are on the defensive layer, so it's kind of par for the course at the minute. I don't think KINGZERO need to panic, but I think they do need at least one more round. I think they really need 2 more rounds. Yeah. It needs to be a 3-3 or better, but you know, we'll see how they do, and we'll see who the next ban is that comes in.
And of course with CAG too, I feel like if you're noticing that round, you really gave them the kills, honestly. Like, you had Bandit swing down, you had your green player die. So making sure you're not giving too many kills on your extension, you're getting back safely into the 5v5 layers. And think about the first round, they didn't give them anything. And that's kind of the game plan they need to stick with. They really need to make sure they make them work for every inch of the map. See the blitz, a zombie ban, you got to weaken the chest extension. And then honestly too, the blitz bans can hurt, you know, their initial entry. But I also feel like the blitz isn't, the shield isn't too strong, because with the ops side, with the below verticality now with the Zofia, you can take ops and then you can use the capital and ops to take mezzanine. And then after you have that control, it's either deciding between going for the plant or going for a display / plant split. And that's really the main point. They need to get into the round. They need to take ops, they need to take top mez, push the people back into display, and get this wall open, and then choose from there to how do they want to displace the Chichanka.
That's it. It's about the fundamentals here and making sure that, you know, when we talk about Siege and we talk about how it's a checklist game and you're moving through, a lot of the time it's kind of 3 phases. You know, you're moving through your initial clearance and intel, and then you're moving through your utility clearance and preparation of the site, and then you're moving through your execute. They didn't get beyond phase 1 last time. We need to see a better phase 2 from them, which is going to be opening that wall, clearing your util, which is going to be moving the Tachanka out of the way. So I'm looking to KZB. Going to be on the Deimos again. It wasn't overly successful last time. They're going to stick with it. We'll see how it does. And
of course, here we're going to see a more aggressive ops extension right now, because you're not going to be able to hold chest for as long. no Bandit either this round. Bring in the Wamai mirror combo to stop this entry. And then again, that's where I feel like Zofia is really good, because that player has to be playing stagnant. And you can just, even if you want to bring a Lion Scare triple impact, the Deimos just allows you, it just gives you the defender the warning. It's like, okay, they're coming to kill me now. Whereas Zofia, it's a drone, boom, 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 you're dead.
Sunset is going to look to take ops quite quickly here. Going to be something that we've seen consistently from KINGZERO. To be fair, the CNL side have certainly not been shy about getting into the map. We saw it on Clubhouse. It didn't really pay off for them too much, but they are happy to get in there and look for that early map control. Twitch drone is going to go through, just pinging out the mirror, but I think maybe... don't know whether they're just a little bit cautious about spinning around the back of it to try and take the glass out of it at the minute. Not quite in position and ready to do so. But there's nobody playing in there at the minute. So they've got that cleared out and they are ready to start taking mezzanine. Where is Big J and what is Big J doing? And I hope that Big J is opening the wall into Mask from Ops Corridor. I think that's exactly what the Ace is going to be doing now.
Where there's a lot of damage to the Blackbeard. Essentially the Blackbeard's out of the round now.
Hit by really nicely placed Magnet. They just don't expect that at all. He's going to send a flash in this time. Just, you know what, I'm going to make sure that there's no more of that Wamai utility in place. KZB much better. Takes down Sharip. I'm not sure if that was underneath or not. Sharip trying to clear him out again, but this time the Deimos stands up to him, and that is going to mean he's available in the round. Beautiful throw though, just uses that big arm. Zaka managing to get the kill onto Big J. That takes the Ace down, but I believe the breaching work has already been done this time.
2 in display. They're in a difficult spot right now. Chibisu, just the Thorn shotgun. Well, he's just, you can just see he's comfortable here. Oh, he gets out with his life. Difficult. They have to flank from below too. It's tough right now. CAG is really comfortable on this map. I'm seeing.
Chibisu doing some great work with the machine pistol there to just really cement this one. We've got KZB. He had the diffuser in hand as well, so then the fact that he's down but not out also means that that case is in no man's land. We're going to have Anaton picking up that final kill onto the shield. KZB was downed and finished, and that is going to be another successful defense. This is the problem now for KINGZERO. You look at it, it's 3-1. You're seeing a 4-2 as, I think, a minimum at this point for CAG. Wouldn't surprise me if they're able to get that basement done. They actually did a lot of good work last time around, so you could be on a 5-1 half here. You really could, so it's no surprise whatsoever to see KINGZERO bringing in that tactical timeout.
No, of course. Especially that last round too, Tim. The main wall wasn't even open, so you're just allowing all your players in Mask to just play aggressively. Think about the Blackbeard. The Wamai is in his face, and he's throwing a C4 to kill his teammate. You know, there's no respect right now coming out from CAG against KINGZERO. They're really showing that, hey, we know Chalet, you guys are comfortable on that map, but you can really see in the strategy on Lara kind of running out of steam here, especially with the ops, because like you could be taking just a little bit stronger displacement ops to clear some of these positions, because they're really giving you top mez. So you can keep top mez, you can take that for yourself, you can have your cap come up the staircase, you can clear the guy out of chest with the Capital. Okay, they're playing new Wamai, but there's not enough disc for him, so you can just bring better utility and better operators to help clear these positions out, and I feel like that will help just force CAG to make more mistakes right now.
That's the thing, I think CAG are playing a really clean game here on Lair, and there isn't the mistakes, but like you say, it's because there's nothing pushing them to them. So KINGZERO got to play a little bit better on that disruption game, got to prevent CAG from playing in those power spots behind the utility as they wish to do so. KZB will bring the Deimos again. We didn't see this last time around, so the only real verticality they had when attacking downstairs last time was the Ram. This time they're going to bring the Sledge instead of the Ram, but they're going to have the Deimos. So that's going to give them just a little bit extra option to put pressure on those players if they are playing vertically at least. Also looking across, we've got secondary hard breach being brought by Big J, but no other hard breaching options. So again, there's only one operator, there's only one player that needs to be taken out. If Big J goes in on the entry and dies, I might possibly cry here because you need to learn that lesson. That's what happened last time around. The hatches stayed closed and it made the round particularly difficult for them.
You need redundancy, making sure that if something goes wrong, you can obviously have have another plan capable here. And the Deimos is a very strong pick because if they do have those roamers, you have the info. You don't even have to be pushing them with the track, but being on the roof, scanning them, and calling that to your teammate is going to put the pressure that they need to actually force the defenders to layer and just give the info about where they actually are. But they don't look like they're going for too hard of a roam right now. They're really playing for a range clear, or armory hard zone, should I say. Actually, no, they're just playing, they're playing really passive. They're playing for the little old school, little filter hard zone right here. No Azami though, so it's just a smoke. It's going to be troublesome for the filter layer. He's going to have to hard hold this. But they do have the Blackbeard, which is really nice to clear this.
Yeah, this really should be something I think that KINGZERO maybe identify as, you know, we were talking about identifying those weaknesses from CAG and taking those opportunities, and this is certainly going to be one of them. But at the minute, the Blackbeard not really in position to be able to challenge that smoke just yet. There's a lot more droning going to be done. We're halfway through the round here, so again, time could become a factor as it did last time around. They were kind of trying to push in with 20 seconds left to go on a single door push, and it just didn't work out for them.
Let's see. Going to be doing Vert with the sledge right now. It's going to be on the filter clear. 3 players filter side. They should have a C4 close with the bandit for any Vert being made. Okay, they already gave this position. They're playing really passive off the smoke Goyle. 2 smokes, 1 Elamine, 1 C4. We need to put the Vert in from KINGZERO's side and make sure we get the pressure. We need to be able to deny the people who are going to deny us from planting the bomb. And we need to make sure we have good split pressure coming in from the stock side, and then maybe a warehouse lurk with the snake, because a warehouse lurk becomes really strong with the snake because you can just pull out your scanner, see where people are, and just run.
I like that this time around we've got the diffuser in the right place. That's good. Sunset's got it on the Blackbeard and it is in position on that door. We've got players up above who can hold those vertical angles. There is a possibility here for KINGZERO to create a little bit of space and put the diffuser down, but Sharif does manage to take down the sledge, and that's a bit of a problem because there's only Big J up above now, and if Sharif chooses to go and find that fight and takes it and wins it, then it could spell the end of the round for KINGZERO. So Big J particularly important right now on that sense. We're going to have another challenge coming in. How about that though? Fiber manages to get one. Big J wins a fight onto Chibisu. Anaton does take down the shield. 3 versus 1 as CAG stand tall inside of sight. Sharif with the final kill above, and that's going to be CAG taking another. It's 4-1.
And again, beautiful round, giving them the space, making them execute. And what happens is, in the execute phase, you really do have to make sure that if there's a flank coming, you have to make sure you have speed and pace with your execute. I'm not seeing KINGZERO get into that spot and explode. They're getting into that spot, they're droning, they're slowing down, they're really telegraphing what they want to go for. They're allowing Sharif the time to flank up yellow, retake the vertical play, and actually, because what happens is he's holding the rocket hatch for the Ella who's fighting stock, so it allows them to play aggressive in Toxin to retake stock, and if you retake stock, you can deny the plants. So it's just, they're playing beautifully off each other, so I'm just looking for KINGZERO to just really try to take some more tempo to really throw them off.
Just prevent them making those alterations because the plant's already happening or because the ground's already been taken.
So like if the flank's coming up, the plant's going down, so there's a timer, but there's no duality in their plays. They're allowing CAG to make the play, and they're not making any plays besides their own set play that they have called.
See if they can change that up here in their final attack. You feel like this is a make or break round for KINGZERO in terms of the Esports World Cup. A reminder, best of 3, we are on the decider. The loser will go home. Their key will be crushed. They will be our first elimination here in Paris at the Esports World Cup, and nobody wants to take that title, but right now KINGZERO look like they are up against it, and that will of course impact the players as well. I'm sure the nerves will start to kick in a little bit. They've shown great resilience and a great ability to deal with that pressure so far, but this is when it really means the most. So just having a look through the lineup of CAG, it wasn't a particularly great defense from them last time around. They got themselves a little bit kind of muddled up, and players in the wrong places, in the wrong positions, and this time we'll see if they can do any better. They're only going to be holding the top floor with 3. It's going to be Zaka, Anaton and DD that are up above. Usually you'd maybe see that as 4. I'd honestly like to see Chibisu up there with them on the Solus. I'm struggling to understand why he's playing so hard down on that middle floor.
Yeah, usually the solos are really nice too, because usually you bring the smoke above with the solos, so if they do sends, walls, smoke plants, you can smoke, you can Tachanka flame the actual the plant spots. So it's a very good combination play, but maybe he's just playing to see the flank and being able to just kind of flank off of the clear here. Hard zoning with the smoke inside a server. Again, it's just extremely slow from KINGZERO.
You just feel like maybe those nerves that I spoke about are starting to take their toll. The pressure mounts, and instead of checking once, you check twice, you check 3 times, you just make sure.
Yeah, that's the thing, guys, you got to worry about if you have the laser on, making sure where you're ADSing. I don't think Anatun saw it right there, but... yeah, didn't. Got though. Oh. Good play.
Gonna have the Blackbeard taken out by the Nitro, but it doesn't really matter as 2 kills come in, and that gives a good opportunity for KINGZERO to start building something here. But Chibisu with what could be an important trade, taking down the sledge. 2 versus 3. Chibisu has managed to get himself above on the Solis. I like to see that, but the problem that he's got, all 3 of KINGZERO's remaining players are up there with him. Question is, who's in the room with whom?
Looks like they want to go down green and execute this. Right now, CAG can play to retake the top, shoot, play to keep his life inside of the site side, just pull pressure, and play for Chibisu to take the top to stop the plant here, which is what he's doing right now. Chirp needs 1 at least. Gets the guy going above, that's big. He has a vert 2. Walks, oh, they missed him.
It's going to be all up to Chibisu to hold on to this, but he's only got 15 seconds to do it, and that plays into his favour. He can use his scanner. Will he see the plant going down? He knows where he needs to stop him. Opens up, does stop 1. They can't go for another. They'll lose surely. He knows where it is. There's the kill, and that's why we want the Solis above. Chibisu retakes that top floor, plays it beautifully, and uses the Solis' gadget to win the round for his team. 1v2. What a clutch. You'll love to see it from CAG.
Yeah, very unlucky for KINGZERO. You know, if they left the player up top, they wouldn't have lost a guy trying to rotate back up top. So again, just really trying to keep calm, especially in these low man executes. You have to make plays quickly, but you can't make them too quickly. You can't rush yourself and just forget about something extremely important as the top 4 on the site, because they're always going to be playing for that deep state win con of retaking the vertical control to stop those plants, because it really is the best play.
How easy is it in a game, you know, maybe it was something you experienced, maybe it wasn't, it comes down to each individual player's mentality, I'd imagine, to kind of, do you ever experience just getting completely lost in it? And like, because the pressure's on and, you know you may be facing elimination, something like that, and thoughts like that where you would normally just stay above, and you know that one of you just needs to stay above, but then you look back at it afterwards and think, why did I go down? And maybe, you know, you're just not, you're kind of in the fog at the time, and you don't see it.
I would definitely say grand finals in Charlotte against DZ, I was definitely in that state of like, it's just like, it's basically kind of like that neutral state in the grand final, because everything is out there in front of you. You just have to be the team who takes the advantage, takes the gaps. And that day we were just kind of just a little bit desynced and just foggy, and just we weren't really it was hard for me to just really identify it fully and go for it. And I feel like those are all just learning points, because then in when we played another grand final on M80, I felt very comfortable in it. You know, I could find myself getting into the match, but again, we were still a very young team, and obviously, like, you have to just experience the final, feel that pressure, because a lot of the time in that final, you can just kind of allow the game to slip away from you and not let yourself in it, because you're just letting the pressure affect you. You're kind of getting into hero plays. It's just, in essence, you have to be really composed, honestly. I feel like the resilience, the veteran nature, it really helps when you reach those deep moments, because you know you've been in these big games before, and the big games, it's just about the moment, you know, and the big players will rise, and that's the end of the day.
And is there ever maybe something that you can do as a player, do you think, to kind of, is that going into a final maybe something that you think about before the game, thinking, you know, if I'm in that position again, I can recognize those emotions, and this is what I'm gonna do to clear my mind?
I think you really start to change a little bit of little things, you know, like, for example, the Charlotte Grand Final, I usually never drunk caffeine, but then I had a Red Bull during one of the games, and then you start to tweak little things, because you maybe think that you need to do this, you need to do that, and you just kind of get yourself uncomfortable, and you start to change the narrative in your own mind. So I guess the best thing you can do is just treating it the same. One thing I said too on Invite when we were going on a great run, I said to them before our stage on the main game, you know, it's very important for us to feel like you're back at home in your room, because we've been doing this for so long, we've been so prepared for this moment, that it's just about having fun and realizing where you've come from and how far you've came, and enjoying where you are, because you're never going to really get these moments again. Sure, you can qualify for events, but none of that's guaranteed. All that's guaranteed is you're here right now playing in front of these people, and you just have to take that and run with it.
Okay then, let's see if KINGZERO can take it and run with it here in the second half. They're going to get themselves onto the defence. CAG managed to get 5. KINGZERO have to do better. 5 or 6 is all that will keep them in this. And it is not looking good for them right now because CAG are in the driving seat. But let's see what they can bring on the attack, because in Siege, as we know, absolutely nothing is a given. We're looking across that defensive side. They're going to be playing into Mirror, Tachanka, Azami. All the strong operators are there. They haven't brought... I love to see a clash. I love hot and cold on the clash. Plays it around the desk. He's a nightmare.
Very good.
He's so good there. I've seen him win so many rounds here, and we don't see a lot of other teams, you know, necessarily bring that clash in that position to say how powerful she is at the minute. So that's not going to be something that they do here, but I think KINGZERO are ticking a lot of boxes on that lineup.
Very good. And the mirror is also very nice. You know, I know I don't want to leak too much, but I know a team, an EU team, you know, if they play Lair, I'll try to make sure we watch for it, but they have a very nice two-barrel mirror strat where they give ops and they have a nice two-barrel trick with the mirror with a nice angle. So it's a very good, there's a lot of possibility you can run here.
Rotero drone's going to go in then and just start clearing out elbow a little bit, get rid of that barbed wire. It's going to be about getting into ops as well. DMR's just so useful at the minute. Not only did they do a ton of damage, they pack a punch on those Kiba barricades as well. So that's going to be Azami force back now. We see Momo just dipping back into more of that mezzanine position at the minute. Needs to make sure they don't overstay the welcome, because I think it is going to be up to Momo to kind of try and hold on to that desk position as well. And right now, it is opening up in front of CAG. There's nobody on the office side. Everybody from KINGZERO has been forced deeper than that.
You see they do have the double mirror for the inner, for the outside wall, and the wall from ops side. Going to make it hard for them to open. They don't have any range breach too, so honestly, they probably won't be getting these walls open. So I think it's going to come down to how they want to split top mezzanine side and display side here.
Saying that, there's absolutely no breach available at all. No hard breach gadgets, so they're going to have to work with the doors. There's no two ways about it, and we'll see. It's a
interesting lineup.
I was going to say, is it maybe a little bit of an overlook from CAG, but I'm sure that they have got a plan particularly, and I am almost certain that it involves Anaton on the Blackbeard. 1 minute 10 left to go, and still fighting their way through utility. They do have full control of mezzanine now, so they can start building from there, but the Chanka Shumika canisters start going out into display, and this is not going to be easy to grind their way through.
No. They need to really just try to find a foothold in. Yep, here it is. Display gap in the split. They take it back. They'd be able to plant here.
There is the foothold they needed. KZB does start fighting back. Chibisu there with a doubled up, and that's going to be CAG closing out the round, and that puts them on map and series point now. Just one more round will do it, and that is, of course, very, very worrying for KINGZERO now. They have to be right 6 times in a row. 5 to get overtime. CAG, they only need to be right once, and it looks like they've got all the answers to this test at the minute. They come in on the attack. It doesn't matter that they've switched sides. They're just showing a true dominance on Lair. Yeah.
It's just right now, I feel like KINGZERO are running out of steam with the strategy. Again, you saw right there, they pulled the pressure CAG, making it think they're going for the mask wall, and they had the people walking pebbles, walking top green. They had a person hopping display with nades so they can clear the traps off so they don't know. They had pressure inside a bathroom, inside a mezzanine hall. So they did all the right things to make them think they're going for that default play, because KINGZERO, they don't know they don't have hard breach. They don't know. So it's like they're thinking they're going to get the wall, they're going to go for the default plan, but then next thing you know, Chibi's in the site. So it's just a great play from CAG, recognizing where the weakness is and what they can do to exploit it.
Yep, that bit of opportunity spotting paying off, and CAG find themselves now attacking onto the basement floor. And
10 seconds remaining.
I'm interested in whether they bring any hard breach again or not. They just didn't bother last time around. It kind of worked out for them, but
I don't think they have it again. Yeah.
No, it's certainly not looking that way. You know, it's one of those that I look at and I think, how many times are you going to get away with that? You know,
the hatch is soft right now. Still,
if they can
He's
move
getting
quickly.
it right now.
There we go. Fiber does get onto it with the vigil and closes that off. There is another one there though. Is KZB going to look to reinforce that or not? At the minute, I think he's maybe just going to look to play in there because he can pop it himself having the shotgun
They're going
there.
quick though, oh my gosh.
He's going to keep his position, but like you say, CAG decided maybe we just take the fight to them very, very quickly behind the shields here, and they're looking to march on in and take a bit of ground. Big J manages to pick up Sharif. That's a great start for them, and they're going to be looking to try and hold on from above, but Zaka manages to find a big kill. Fiber onto Chibizu, 3 versus 4. It's turning into chaos here in round 8. Can CAG be the ones that come out on top of it? They're going to have to take some fights with the pistol. Effectively a 4 versus 2 right now as Zaka has been downed, and it doesn't look like this one is going to be going in CAG's direction. DD with it all to do, 1 versus 4. Sometimes at a 6v1, you can understand trying for a rush, but that one does not pay off, Dave.
That was a good reaction right there too. I like kind of had a web inside the site with the Goyos on top on the doors. So you got deep, but then you see Goyos on barricades. So it really funnels you into one area. They had the shotgun above. They had the verticality ready. They're ready with the reactions.
Excellent stuff from KINGZERO, showing that they may be wounded here, they may be on the verge, but they have still got a little bit of bite left in them, and they can fight their way back into this one. We've seen it done before, we will see it done again. Is today going to be one of those occasions? Right now, KINGZERO are looking for a hero. They're going to be looking towards players like KZB. He is currently 8-7, Fiber 6-6 as well. They've shown us great performances so far today here in Paris. Are they able to do it when it counts the most? Right now, KINGZERO needs somebody to step up.
Big time here. I'm looking at Sunset. I feel like he just really needs to get into the game here, especially on the Clash. He needs to just be mobile on the top floor, put the shield down, get a kill, pick it back up, help his team really identify where the front's coming from and put himself in that position to stop that. I feel like that's what the best thing is about the Clash, is putting your IGL on the Clash, like with Hot and Cold's on it, and it allows the IGL to really see different plays and actually move the team around and move himself around where he needs to be to stop the attack. So I feel like it's very good.
It's almost like having free cam for the IGL, just to go around and have a little look at what's going on from each different angle. But I think that the problem is for KINGZERO here, things are going to get a lot more difficult because, of course, CAG last time, they tried a little bit of a rush. We're going to be cheeky. We're going to see if we can walk into sight, see if you're going to leave a gap. They're not going to play this round in that way. No. So right now, KINGZERO, they stood up to the challenge last time. They're going to have a much different challenge facing them now.
And here, I like this lineup a lot. This is one of the best lineups. You have the Grim for the display side. You have the Capitao for the Mez clear. You have the Ace breaching. It's amazing. Finally. You have the Striker 2, Flashes, Nades, and the Buck below. It's amazing. They have a great lineup right now. Should be able to displace extremely well. Only thing missing maybe is a Sophia for the Clash on the Buck below, but that's all hindsight here.
It's going to be the job of the Capitao then with those asphyxiation arrows. There's a couple of nades on Chibizu as well, that could do the job of moving that Clash around, but good progress straight away. We're seeing that breach come in. They've got the redundancy. We spoke about redundancy of something as important as hard breach, and Zach has got that option to be able to use the secondary hard breach as well. Chibizu does manage to take down Big J, so right now everything is coming up CAG. It is all going in their favour. They're getting some great work done here right now. The one stumbling block that I really see for them is that Clash.
They flame the top Mez, they take Mez. It's beautiful right now. One thing I will say that KINGZERO could look for on this take 2, it's like when they have this guy solo display, that should be, he's there, you're powering him. He's on the balcony, you're fighting him with 2 people, you're taking the 2v1, alleviating that pressure, and it makes your top Mez hold a lot stronger here. But they're really just giving them, they gave them the bathroom control. They have Mez control right now. It's gonna be hard. The smoke's dead, no Tachanka. It's on the mirror.
Yeah, that's a big problem for them at the minute. No denial beyond Fiber's C4. That's about all they've got to be able to stop this plant going down. Access has now been gained to that area. KZB's just hard holding this. He's sat on top of it. He tries to escape with the Kiba barricade to block the view, but he can't do it as Anaton has the angle from Ops. Manages to find his man. 4 versus 3. Sunset, you wanted a kill, you got it, Dave. He manages to find DD, takes down the Grim. That's going to leave us now 4 versus 3. CAG, 35 seconds left to go. They need to start taking that little bit of extra ground. They can't dither here. Chibizu does exactly that. Takes out the Wamai. denied. That's the denial gone. There is now an opportunity to get in with Anaton and start putting that diffuser down on the ground. They missed the opportunity to take the flank. Shuri manages to find Momo. It's all up to Sunset. 0 and 6 coming in. Will he be 5 and 6 going out? That's the question. Anaton manages to secure the plant. It's now 1v3 and he's on the clock. You've got to say that it's surely too much, and it surely will be, as Shuri manages to find the final kill. CAG survive another day, and KINGZERO